ló pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ọjọ́ ìsinmi òun ni wọ́n máa ń pe Sunday. Mo kí gbogbo ẹni tí Ọlọ́run bá ní ó máa gbọ́ ohun tí mò ń sọ láti iléeṣẹ́ wa níbí báyìí. Orúkọ mi náà mà tí yí padà. Èmi náà ni Ọláyọmí Kóìkì tí gbogbo yín mọ̀ sí Koikimedia, and bringing the world closer to your doorsteps. Welcome again to the channel, and we appreciate every one of you that have joined us, and we are grateful to have you in our midst today. As we are just about to kickstart the program, what you can do for me is to share the program and also invite others to join as well. There's a lot tí mo fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí, but lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ mo kí ìyá tó bí mi lọ́mọ, mo kí dáadáa pé k'Ọlọ́run Ọba Elédùmarè kó bá mi foríjì, kó bá mi tẹsáfẹ́fẹ́ re níbikíbi tí ó bá wà. Àwa náà ni ẹ̀yìn tí ó fi sílẹ̀, ẹ̀yìn náà dẹ̀ tí bàjẹ́, kò dẹ̀ ní bàjẹ́ ní àṣẹ Elédùmarè, torí pé gbogbo ìgbàkígbà tí ẹ bá ti ń rí wa, ara máa le tata bí ọ̀tá ni. So mo kí ìyá náà torí pé ọlá ìyá mi ni mò ń jẹ lénìí, torí tí kò bá ń ṣe ìyá náà, ó ṣe é ṣe kí n má wà ní èní débi pé ẹ̀yin náà máa láǹfààní àti máa gbọ́ mi, ẹ̀ dẹ̀ máa rí mi wò. So ẹ jọ̀ọ́, gbogbo ìgbàkígbà tí a bá ti ń wọlé, ẹ máa bá mi kí ìyá mi pé mo ṣe dáadáa fún iṣẹ́ takuntakun tó ṣe tó fi gbé mi wá sí ilé ayé. Nígbà náà màá tún máa wá kí gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ olólùfẹ́ wa káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé, pé a ti dé gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹ ti ṣe mọ̀ wá láti iléeṣẹ́ wa náà ni. Iléeṣẹ́ tí a ti ń dára, àrà tó pọ̀ dẹ̀ ni a máa dá, torí pé ọmọ tó ń dára ni àwa. A dẹ̀ ní àwọn nǹkan tí a fi máa dára, òun náà ni ìta ń pè ní media communication, láti lè bá gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa sọ̀rọ̀. So bẹ́ ṣe ń wọlé ní méjì mẹ́ta, bá wa máa gbọ́wọ́lé share button yẹn, so that kí program yẹn kó lè lọ káàkiri gbogbo ibi tó yẹ kó lọ. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn announcement náà wà tí mo fẹ́ fi tó wa létí, nítorí pé ẹ mọ̀, táwọn ọ̀gá wa bá ti fún wa ní information látòkè, àwa náà gbọ́dọ̀ tètè mú àwọn information yẹn fún ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa tí ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ wa. Bí ẹ bá wá ń gbọ́ mi, mo bẹ̀ yín, mo rọ̀ yín, ẹ bá mi gbé ọwọ́ lé share button yẹn. Ó ṣe pàtàkì pé ká máa pín program, torí tá bá pín program, òun lọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ máa jàǹfààní ẹ̀. So ká tó máa bá iṣẹ́ náà lọ, mo tún kí wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí pé ẹ káàbọ̀ sí orí iléeṣẹ́ wa láti Koikimedia TV channel lórí YouTube. A máa connect sí Facebook wa láìpẹ́ yìí, a dẹ̀ wà lórí Instagram, a wà lórí gbogbo platform tí ó jẹ́ ká wà lórí ẹ̀, torí pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn máa ń wò wá ní different platforms, but orí ibi tí a ti ń bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ lénìí, òun náà ni ibi tí a wà yìí. So on that note, let's slowly kick the program as we start. Iṣẹ́ wa fúnlẹ̀ wa, forílẹ̀ ibi wa, ká gbéga, ká gbéga, ká gbéga fálérí. Ìgbàgbọ́ wa ni pé bá ti bẹ̀rù làbọ̀ mọ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká jọlá. Ìṣọ̀kan àtòmìnira ní kẹ́jẹ́ ká máa lépa, tẹ̀síwájú fọ̀pọ̀ ire àtòhun tó dára. Ọmọ Oòduà dìde, bọ́ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ. Ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀. Àwa ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀. Èmi ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀. Welcome to Koikimedia. Aago márùn-ún fẹ́ lù láti ibi tí mo wà yìí. Aago márùn-ún fẹ́ lù. So time zone will be different across the globe. Welcome if you are new to the channel. Welcome if you are a returnee that enjoys what we do here. And we would like to welcome you back again. There is a lot that we want to, talk about. There's a lot happening around the globe. The war is going on in the Middle East. Ukraine war is still ongoing as well. Likewise, there is a lot of things going on in Nigeria that many people are probably wondering what is going to be the way forward. Like somebody asked us yesterday, can't be what is the way forward? Kini way forward, Mr. Koiki. There's a lot happening. We want to know. Mumbai for many few seconds. Láti jẹ́ káwọn èèyàn wá mọ ibi tí ọ̀rọ̀ wa kù sí, nítorí pé ọ̀rọ̀ wa kò ní takú síbi tí ó dé yìí. Ọlọ́run dẹ̀ ní jẹ́ kí ó takú síbẹ̀. So mo kí gbogbo yín lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́kọ́ farabalẹ̀ ká gbọ́ àwọn tí wọ́n ní ká fi sọ fún yín nípa àwọn ètò tó ń bọ̀ látara àwọn iṣẹ́ tí àwọn tí Ọlọ́run gbéṣẹ́ lé lọ́wọ́, torí Ọlọ́run gbéṣẹ́ lé àwọn kan lọ́wọ́ tí wọ́n ní kọ́kọ́ máa jẹ́ kí gbogbo èèyàn mọ̀ pé nǹkan báyìí ń bọ̀, nǹkan báyìí ń bọ̀. So ní oṣù táwa yìí, bàbá wa ọmọ Adéyẹmọ tí gbogbo wa mọ̀ sí Dr. Chief Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho Òòṣà, wọ́n ní àwọn visitation tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ní àwọn program táwọn kan náà ti pè wọ́n sí tí wọ́n ti fi tó wa létí pé Koikimedia, ẹ bá wa sọ fún àwọn tí wọ́n ń gbọ́ yín nípa àwọn program tí àwa náà fẹ́ ṣe ní Yewa, the 5 local government. Wọ́n ní àwọn program tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe. Mo dẹ̀ tún mọ̀ pé nírìn àjò kan máa wáyé lọ sí Kogi State tí wọ́n ti ń palẹ̀mọ́ sílẹ̀ fún bàbá wa olóyè Ìgbòho. Kọ́lọ́n kó jẹ́ kí a rí ọjọ́ náà, kí ọjọ́ náà kó dé bá wa láyọ̀ àtàláfíà. So gbogbo yẹn náà ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́kọ́ gbọ́ àwọn ìkéde yìí ká tó máa wá tẹ̀síwájú. Mo kí wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Please share the program and invite others to do so.
Dr. Sunday Ìgbòho Òòṣà káàbọ̀ sí ilẹ̀ òkun ní ọjọ́ kẹẹ̀ẹ́dógún àti ọjọ́ kẹrìndínlógún oṣù kẹrin ọdún tí a wà nínú rẹ̀ yìí. Àwọn olùgbàlejò gbogbo lọ́balọ́ba nílẹ̀ òkun lábẹ́ alákòóso wọn ọba Dr. Solomon Délé Owóníyì Òkìtọ́lékè Owóyọ̀mádé one di ọba Àró of Kaba àti alága gbogbo lọ́balọ́ba nílẹ̀ òkun. Ẹ jẹ́ kí atúyàyà láti wá pàdé Chief Dr. Sunday Ìgbòho Òòṣà láti Ẹgbẹ̀mẹ́ dídé ìsọ̀rọ̀ ọba ayédò ìyàwó yìí dídé ìyàrá wá sí ìlú Kaba gbogbo ilẹ̀ gbogbo pátápátá dídé ọ̀wọ́rọ̀ wà ní ká jáde láti wá pàdé àlejò pàtàkì yìí. A tún fi àsìkò yìí dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ bàbá wa ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu fún ètò ààbò tí ó gbé fún bàbá wa Ìgbòho Òòṣà. Àpò oríire ní ilẹ̀ òkun nígbà wọlé ẹgbẹ́ ìfẹ́lódù àpapọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá ní olùkéde.
So once again, this month we are going to have a big visitor in Okunland. Okunland, maybe some of you might not know, is in Kogi State. Kogi State is the Yoruba land. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn náà ni wọ́n ń jà pé káwọn gba gbogbo ibi tí àwọn tí wọ́n ti tẹ̀bẹ̀dó kúrò lọ́wọ́ wa. And that's why we have to work very hard to make sure that all these do not happen. Tó bá dẹ̀ máa rí bẹ́ẹ̀, we have to protect, the Christians, the Muslims, and the traditionalists within, the southwest of Nigeria. So, once again, ká gbọ́ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí ká tó tún padà wá.
Chief Dr. Sunday Igboho káàbọ̀ sí ilẹ̀ òkun ní ọjọ́ kẹẹ̀ẹ́dógún àti ọjọ́ kẹrìndínlógún oṣù kẹrin ọdún tí a wà nínú rẹ̀ yìí. Àwọn olùgbàlejò gbogbo lọ́balọ́ba nílẹ̀ òkun lábẹ́ alákòóso wọn ọba Dr. Solomon Dele Owóníyì Òkìtọ́lékè Owóyọ̀mádé One di ọba Àró of Kaba àti alága gbogbo lọ́balọ́ba nílẹ̀ òkun. Ẹ jẹ́ kí atúláyà láti wá pàdé Chief Dr. Sunday Igboho láti Ẹgbẹ̀mẹ́kù dé Ìsọ̀lú ọba Ayédò ìyàwó yìí dídé ìyàrá wá sí ìlú Kaba gbogbo ilẹ̀ Ondo pátápátá dídé Ọ̀wọ́rọ̀ wà ní ká jáde láti wá pàdé àlejò pàtàkì yìí. A tún fi àsìkò yìí dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ bàbá wa ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu fún ètò ààbò tí ó gbé fún bàbá wa Ìgbòho Òòṣà àpò oríire ní ilẹ̀ òkun nígbà òde ẹgbẹ́ ìfẹ́lódù àpapọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá ní olùkéde.
Also, we are going to see another program coming up on the 11th of April 2026 inú oṣù tá a wà yìí ní agogo mẹ́wàá ní àwọn ìfẹ́lódùn àpapọ̀ security agency ní Yewa 5 local government parapọ̀ ní Ogun State. Wọ́n ní àwọn fẹ́ ṣe àwọn nǹkan tí wọ́n ti ń ṣe bọ̀ láti bí ọdún tó pọ̀ nípa tá à ń pè ní appreciation, ká dúpẹ́. Wọ́n ní tíyàn bá dúpẹ́ lénìí á rí ìmí ìgbà lọ́la, ẹni tó bá dúpẹ́ báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ rí ìmí ìgbà lọ́la. So ìdí tí àwọn ẹgbẹ́ ìfẹ́lódùn àpapọ̀ ìyẹn ti ìlú Yewa nílùú Ogun State níbi tí President Tinubu wà níbẹ̀ ní ìní, I believe so, that don't launch the new airport. We need more development and infrastructure across Yoruba land. So ìyẹn máa wáyé ní Yewa ní aago mẹ́wàá. Kí bàbá wa His Royal Highness Ọba Mutiu Alani Adédìméjì Oyèdé Lawal, the Ṣíjúadé Adé Adòkùnú One, Ọlọ́lá of Ìlara Yewa land. Àwọn ni wọ́n máa jẹ́ chief host ní on the 11th. Ibo ló ti máa ṣẹlẹ̀ gangan ní Ìlara garage beside Ìlara market. So fún gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ bá láǹfààní láti lè kí bàbá wa Ìgbòho, láti ká dúpẹ́ fún wọn fún iṣẹ́ takuntakun tó ń ṣe. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wá padà sọ́dọ̀ Professor Adebanji Akintoye, the leader of the Yoruba self-determination movement. There is two different things between the movement and a political party. Many people mix it together. We have different organizations around the world. Nínú ẹ̀ náà la ní United Nations, a ní WHO. There are many different organizations that are doing different things across the globe. But when it comes to what we are doing in terms of the campaign, the reason why we need to exit Nigeria, that means gbogbo yẹn máa wá lábẹ́, the Yoruba self-determination movement. So the movement is not, against anybody. The movement is not against whether you believe in Nigeria or you don't believe in Nigeria. It's to tell those of us that believe that Nigeria is going through a lot, and the chances that Nigeria will survive what is going through is very, very slim. So some of you might agree, some of you might disagree that Nigeria should dissolve and become, multiple nations. But what Yoruba self-determination movement is doing is to campaign, and it's under, international law that we can do that. It might not be enshrined inside the Nigerian Constitution. But what matter is, under the international law, we have every right, to campaign, for self-determination. We also have the right to engage our politicians, because politicians will be one of our major, people that we have to talk to. If you're going to leave Nigeria and want to be on your own as an independent country, you would have to engage your politicians. So let's listen one more time, Mumbo.
Chief Dr. Sunday Igbohosa káàbọ̀ sí ilẹ̀ òkun ní ọjọ́ kẹẹ̀ẹ́dógún àti ọjọ́ kẹrìndínlógún oṣù kẹrin ọdún tí a wà nínú rẹ̀ yìí. Àwọn olùgbàlejò gbogbo lọ́balọ́ba nílẹ̀ òkun lábẹ́ alákòóso wọn ọba Dr. Solomon Délé Owóníyì Òkìtọ́lékè Owóyọ̀mádé one di ọba Àró of Kaba àti alága gbogbo lọ́balọ́ba nílẹ̀ òkun. Ẹ jẹ́ kí atúyáyá láti wá pàdé Chief Dr. Sunday Igbohosa láti Ẹgbẹ̀mẹ́kù dé Ìsọ̀rọ̀ ọba Ayédò Ìyàmóye dídé Ìyàrá wá sí ìlú Kaba gbogbo ilẹ̀ Ondo pátápátá dídé Òwọ́rọ̀ wà ní ká jáde láti wá pàdé àlejò pàtàkì yìí. A tún fi àsìkò yìí dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ bàbá wa ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu fún ètò ààbò tí ó gbé fún bàbá wa Ìgbòho Òòṣà àpò oríire ní ilẹ̀ òkun nígbà òde ẹgbẹ́ ìfẹ́lódù àpapọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá ní olùkéde. Ọ̀rọ̀ Fúlàní ti súra darandaran ẹ̀yin àgbẹ̀ ẹ bá ṣe kálẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ ga.
Once again, share the program. There is a lot we want to catch up with, but I'm just giving us some of the update. So Moki, Professor Adebanji Akitoye. Professor Akitoye is a learned and the most historian that we still have with us. I say Professor Adebanji Akitoye, the most learned, and we are grateful to still have him with us at the age of 92. May the soul of my mother continue to rest in peace. We were with Professor last year in Benin Republic to celebrate his birthday. But as usual, man propose, God dispose. If anybody told me that this year, I would not have my beautiful, loving, caring, and the most important person in my life with me today. Does that mean that life will end? No. Life will continue. I will have to manage the situation for a very long time. It's a painful death, but death happens because we are humans and we are meant to go at some point in our life. But what I can appreciate is that the time that my mother spent on earth means that she played a role within the society. And if you look at this image, that is her during her graduation from the university here in London. That shows that you must continue to learn as human. So Tobawa, so the program, we expect to fracas, you are probably not going to learn anything. Because this woman went back to university when she was in her 70s. She studied business. After she died, I've seen a lot of things that, business cards, many places that she has been to, and a lot of engagement. So never stop learning, because, as human beings, we will not stop learning, because there's a lot when you learn. So when you go to platforms, we have different platforms. So Baba Akitoye is someone that we are grateful to have, in our midst up to today. Because Baba yẹn ti ṣe ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ iṣẹ́ tó pọ̀ gan fún ìran Yorùbá, tí a dẹ̀ ń dúpẹ́ fún pé people like us will continue to look and digest and study, because ẹni tó gbé iṣẹ́ Baba Awólọ́wọ̀ tí a lè sọ pé ó wà pẹ̀lú Baba Awólọ́wọ̀ for a very long time is Professor Akintoye. He spent a very good amount of time with the late legend, the late Baba Awólọ́wọ̀. And when we are looking at what we are doing today in terms of our quest for self-determination, we are going to continue to be grateful that Baba Akintoye is leading that kind of movement. And underneath, he has a lot of subordinates, people that are working with him, because you cannot work alone in this kind of movement. Just like President Bola Tinubu is not working alone. When you complain about your power supply, it means that ẹni President Bola Tinubu fi síbẹ̀, bí àwọn ni wọ́n ṣe dáadáa. If you're talking about the road, bí ẹni minister tó wà níbẹ̀. If you're talking about social welfare, if you're talking about the diaspora, Abike Dabiri, and many things like that. So, Baba Akintoye is a body on his own, but Baba Akintoye náà ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn tí wọ́n ń ṣiṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú wọn. He has the organization which is called Ìlànà Ọmọ Oòduà. Ìlànà Ọmọ Oòduà is an independent, body of his own. But Ìlànà Ọmọ Oòduà cannot also work on his own. We have Ìlànà Ọmọ Oòduà charter in America, Canada, UK, Nigeria, and many other Asian countries across the globe. That was when the YSDM was formed in 2021. And the YSDM has been, one body, Mumbo, is to bring all the bodies together. Because àwọn kan ní a lè ṣe pẹ̀lú àwọn eléyìí, a lè ṣe pẹ̀lú ìlànà, àwa náà fẹ́ ní group tiwa. And I have listened carefully to Professor Akintoye many times. And most of what he has said is, we Yorubas, our Iromalade, we are good in setting up organizations and groups. And there's nothing bad in that. It's good because it helps us to look at things from different ways. And that's why táwọn kan ṣe ní fẹ́ Yoruba nation. Kí la fẹ́ fi Yoruba nation ṣe? Let's continue, with the one Nigeria, and let's work to fix it. Whether it can be fixed, I don't think so. I don't believe so. So Professor Akintoye is that body that gives us the hope that we will get Yoruba nation, but it doesn't have to be in the bloodshed. Kò ní láti jẹ́ ìtàjẹ̀sílẹ̀. A máa gbà, ọ̀nà tá dẹ̀ máa fi gbà, òun ni pé a máa lọ kọ́kọ́ sọ fún gbogbo àwọn èèyàn wa kí lẹ́yìn wọ́n ń pè ní Nàìjíríà, and how do we, analyze Nigeria that you can understand. And that was done very well for the 5 years of the struggle. But Baba Akintoye now have capable hands. Wọ́n láwọn tó jẹ́ gbòógì tó wà pẹ̀lú Baba Akintoye. And one of them is now also Dr. Oloye Igboho, tí gbogbo wa mọ̀ sí Igboho Òòṣà. Kò sí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe fẹ́ dárúkọ Yoruba nation struggle, you would have to mention Chief Sunday Igboho. But there's also many other people that are involved in the movement. But there are some faces that people recognize and probably forgot about other people. Àwọn olótú ń ṣe Yoruba nation. Ìbí Igboho ti don't ṣe Yoruba nation mọ́, even though that is a lie. So when we look at those faces, then you also look at the groups that are representing each of those faces. We have groups like Igboho Day, we have Iron Lady, we have Ifelodun Apapo, we have GR1, we have the groups to organize a rally in the US. Tamosi, I'm going to remember their name now, bear with me. We also have those groups as well. We have, multiple different groups that are doing different things, in support of the movement. We have the different committees that are working, doing different things to support Babakitoye. So, in the nutshell, mega rally, we have the mega rally, and we have many groups like that that are also doing different things. In order for us to get what we want, we must also explain why we want it. Because some people don't know the reason why we want to leave Nigeria. They think that maybe so why should we give you the privilege to tell us to exit Nigeria when we are not even enjoying Nigeria, and yet you still want to push us away from Nigeria to where we don't know. So, and when people don't know what they want, they are confused. Onoma, you can easily get confused because you're like, níbo lẹ fẹ́ kó wa lọ? Inú Nàìjíríà gan ta wà gan sef. Àìtẹ́ tí mọ inú odó tí a máa dọ̀rá sí, àbí báwo ló ṣe ń pòwe yẹn. So why do we now have to leave Nigeria and have our own independent sovereign nation? And even a lot of people don't know the difference between countries. People think Nigeria is a country. That is what you are told. That is what you are told. Okay, I think we are having, remember, that is what you are told, In terms of but for people like us, we tend to now understand Nigeria because when you look at countries around the globe, only in Tomafin identify country where I am an American citizen. I'm a British ini. I'm a Canadian. How do you recognize somebody from such country? How do you know that somebody is from a country? How? Is it by the flag? Is it by the continent? How do you recognize someone is from a country? How do you know somebody is from Japan? A Japanese citizen, a Libyan, a Qatarian citizen. How do you, identify all these? Is it based on what you have been told? Because we are Nigerians today is based on what we are told, right? Do we believe that? But in Toso Funwanie, we are Nigerians, and we accept it that we are Nigerians because, we got independent in 1960, he's gone through all his problems, but we are Nigerians. So how do you now tell somebody that you are not a Nigerian? If you tell somebody that you're not a Nigerian, the first thing they're going to tell you is, what are you talking about? What exactly are you talking about? What do you mean I am not a Nigerian? By birth, I am Nigerian. By nationality, I am a Nigerian. By the passport that I have, I am a Nigerian. So this is where the issues are. To first tell people that you are not Nigerians. Yes, we understand that we were told, we were given the This is Koikimedia bringing the word closer to your doorstep. In ọjọ́ karùn-ún nínú oṣù kẹrin ọdún 2026 láti iléeṣẹ́ wa ni a ti ń gbé ohun yìí jáde. Bí ẹ bá bá pàdé, ẹ̀yin náà ẹ bá wa pín fún ẹlòmíì kó gbọ́ kí wọ́n lè jàǹfààní ẹ̀. If you tell someone that I am a Nigerian, what are the basis of you saying I am a Nigerian? Kí làwọn nǹkan tí ẹ rí? Obviously, Lagos State, you're a Nigerian. Obviously, Anambra, you're a Nigerian. But there were some things that happened prior before certain events took place. There are many things that happened. A lot of things that's played out, at certain time in the history that were wrong. Some of those things are the reason why we are going through what we are going through today as humans, as Omo Yoruba, as Omo Igbo, Omo Hausa, Omo Fulani, in Nigeria. And until a lot of our until you understand that, it will be difficult for you to accept what we are presenting to many people. Because many people will be asking themselves, why do you want me to leave my Nigerianness, as the former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, said in one of his quotes? I believe in my one Nigerianness than a Yorubaness. Kí ló dé tí màá máa polongo Yorubaness nígbà tí mo ti ní Nigerian passport, mo ti ṣe ológun rí ní 1970, mo ti jẹ president ní 1999 up to 2007. I carry Nigerian passport. I am known as a Nigerian. So why should I then switch all of a sudden? Why should I switch? This is why some people also say, why should I be a citizen of Oodua Republic or Yoruba Nation? Why should I endorse it? Why should I support it? It's because we have seen those individuals like Obasanjo that has a big influence in terms of his position and, other factors. But Baba Akintoye has been able to tell us that we can look into who we are from different angles, not the one that we are told by the certain people within certain century. Because why you are being known as a Nigerian today is based on what we were told by those that colonize us for a long period until, whether we are still under that colonization or we are free. It depends on how you see it. So the fact remains, until many of us understand that key, who are we, Taniwa, and if somebody asks me today that, where are you from? I'll say I'm from Nigeria. But immediately you say you are from Nigeria, they are asking you another question. What part of Nigeria are you from? Now, let's reverse that statement. Where am I from? I am from Yoruba land. Right there and there, I will not be asked again, where am I from? Because I have automatically told them where I'm from, and that location has the identity of those people living in that part of that geographical location. And get it. If I tell someone today that I am from Nigeria, they are still asking me again, what part of Nigeria? Because that question means that there are other people that live within that Nigeria and either in the southeast, the north, or the southwest, or the middle belt. But what I'm trying to explain is, why should we have to be defining who we are by one question leading to another question? Why not just we say, I am from so place. Okay, where am I? Where are you from? I'm from Turkey. And I don't have to be explaining any other thing because enemy. But the reason why we have not been able to do that is because during the century, a lot of things happened. A lot of things has happened. And those things has got real impact on the lives of millions of our people today. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn wa, they're suffering for it. It's not just one particular group of people that are suffering for these issues. We have people that are also from other faiths that are badly affected. And that event continued to unfold in terms of the persecution of Christians, the persecutions of Muslims, and the persecutions of the traditionalists. How do we solve that matter? How do we make sure that this matter should not happen again? Because many people that are still being persecuted today because of their faith should not be happening. And that is why somebody like the President of America, Donald Trump, says America will not sit back and allow the persecution of the Christians. Àwọn ò ní jókòó kí wọ́n máa pa àwọn Kristẹni. That he will not. And that is why the President of America, Donald Trump, has come out to defend the Christians. Not just only in Nigeria, but across the globe. So wherever Christians are being persecuted, American says we will go after that country. And I remember when Joe Biden was in government, Nigeria was put under a spot watch. During that time that Donald Trump, when Joe Biden came to office, Joe Biden decided to remove Nigeria from country of interest fáwọn tó ń pa àwọn Kristẹni. And you will wonder why. Kí ló lè fà á? Why do we have the persecution of Christians? Why? Kí ló fà á? It's because the issue and the matter, we have those that the government calls the bandits. Even though some of us do not agree with that name, bandit. These are people that have an agenda. Let's go back to 2024 in one article. Only biti ashin law, but I'm just giving us some kind of, background to two different governments. We have the Joe Biden government, which is the Democrat. They've done their term. They've gone. We now have the Republican in power, which is Donald Trump. But during the first term of Donald Trump kept a check on Nigeria. Pé kí lẹ̀ ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, fi mú sílẹ̀, ẹ má pa àwọn Kristẹni mọ́. But kò wọlé second term. And eventually, Joe Biden came to power. And when Biden came to power, this article under cruisenow.com, as in CRUX, the X-ray, not the S for sugar, so that when you want to do a cross check to what I'm saying, you can find that link. CRUX, or Charlie Romeo Uniform X-ray. This was an article by Ingala Kilini. If you can still hear me on the YouTube, please indicate, because I had a call. If you can still hear me on the YouTube, please indicate, because I had a call and it interrupted that device. July 2nd, 2024. That means 25, 26. So, Biden, Trump said the padani. I'm speaking in English and Yoruba for a reason. So, if you're wondering, English, it's just the way I'm going to do the presentation, because I'm going to read a lot of things in English. Yes, they can hear me clearly. I appreciate. Please share the program. This is not your normal platform. This is a platform that educates and tell you fact with references. Thank you so much if you're watching me for the first time. And if you're returning, we love you, we appreciate you, and we say Happy Easter Sunday. And I want us to be clear that some of us are Muslims, born Muslim. I was born a Muslim. But up to my age today, I've never had any reason to say, Kilo kan wá pẹ̀lú Christian, kilo kan wá pẹ̀lú àwọn oníṣẹ̀ṣe. Maybe because bí Alhaji tèmi ṣe bí èmi, ó yàtọ̀ sí bí àwọn tí wọ́n pààyàn bó ṣe bí àwọn. And I can give you an evidence base, because I don't have to go anywhere. Just right here, I can just come here and say, it's Easter Sunday, right? And as a Muslim, I don't have any problem with whatever faith you believe. And I'm not bringing you to believe in anything. So I want your mind to be clear. I am just taking us somewhere. This is the Bible. That Quran came with me from Nigeria 29 years ago. Is in English because I can't read in Arabic. Because, like I said, some of us, the way we were brought up, ilé kéwú ò ń ṣe compulsory. Àwọn ilé kan wà tó bá lọ lé kéwú wá nú ẹ̀ wá ṣe gbogbo yẹn wá. I think, my parents, my late mother now, God bless her, àwọn gbà pé gódìgbà tẹ́ bá lọ lé kéwú bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ lé kéwú kò matter. What matter is go to secondary school, go to primary school, and I did all that. I went to a private primary school. I didn't even go to a government primary school. Onward Nursery and Primary School. So that shows that background got to matter. When it comes to all these people, you don't fight for religion. Why are you fighting for religion? But what we are saying is that you cannot take away people's belief because you want to use your own belief to kill them, maim them, buy them, do whatever. And that's exactly what we are saying in Nigeria today. In Nigeria, ìtorí o jẹ́ Kristẹni, a máa gbẹ̀mí ẹ. Even though a lot of people are also doing all their fracas around Islam and Christian, in Nigeria on the social media. You don't have to fight anybody. Believe in what you believe. Accept it. Work with it. Tó bá favor ẹ, mo láwọn àfáà tó ń ṣàdúrà fún mi. Mo ní wòlíì tó ń ṣàdúrà fún mi. Mo ní babaláwo tó ń ṣàdúrà fún mi. At my age, nobody can tell me or force me to believe that ó dìgbà tó bá gba Quran, tó bá kú, jọ́nà kan ló máa lọ, tó bá gba Bible, tó bá kú, heaven ló máa lọ. Maybe when my mother comes back and tell me what it looks like on the other side, I might believe that. Bóyá tí ìyá mi bá padà wá pé, ẹ mọ̀ pé ìyá mi ti kú nísìn. So ìyá mi nìkan ló lè padà wá kó wá sọ fún mi pé nígbà tóun lọ, tóun kú yẹn ní last year, ìgbà tóun dọ̀hún, ibi báyìí lóun lọ, ibi báyìí lóun lọ. So there are people that believe in that. So, but let's come back from this article. Once again, a very good afternoon. It's coming up to 5:30. The weather is very bright outside. I've not been outside today, so more time tutu. But yesterday, I had the privilege. Mo ní gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí a jọ ń ṣe lórí social media yìí. At some point, at some point, we might probably just see each other like this on the TV, because some of you are watching me on your TV, some of you on your phone. Ẹlòmíì battery cell ẹ̀ tí ń tàn. I was privileged yesterday to attend a Nikai somewhere in Croydon. But in tó gbé mi dé Croydon yẹn, kò ń ṣe pé mo lọ sí studio ní radio station mi. A call came in on Friday evening, almost late evening. And I know the number because just like most of you call me, send me voice note, mo wá rí message, mo wá gbé call yẹn. I greeted her. I wà ní London. London kẹ̀. It was one of my big mom that lives in the United States of America, flew to London for this Nikai, and they are on their way back to the state. This is the life I want you as a Yoruba people to live. Irú ilé ayé tí mo fẹ́ ká jọ máa gbé nìyẹn. As what citizen? But irú citizenship wo ló máa ní láti lè rìn ìrìn àjò yẹn? So when she called me, I was so over. Kódà tó bá wá jẹ́ pé Manchester bí Birmingham lọ tún wà gan, mo ready láti jí lọ́wọ́ coach láti lọ bá wọn. Ambos ti bọ̀ sí Croydon, mo ní Croydon. Ìyẹn lẹ fi rí mi lánàá tí mo múra Omitaf Couture ló gé sí mi lára. Gbogbo àwọn òyìnbó ń wò mí lánàá pé báwo lòyìnbó ṣe fẹ́ mọ̀ pọ́mọ Yorùbá ni mí látara outfit mi, because in tí mo wọ̀ lánàá kò ń ṣe Nàìjíríà. In tó lè fi mọ̀ pé Nàìjíríà ni mí ni pé tí bá wọ green, white, green. That is the only time they can understand that I'm a Nigerian. Gbogbo bí mo ṣe ń lọ lánàá tí mo dé fìlà, ẹni tó bá ti rí Nigerian rí, tó dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé àwọn ẹ̀yà kan wà bó ṣe máa ń dé fìlà ní, because tó bá dé fìlà báyìí, o ti marry, tó bá dé fìlà báyìí, òun wáyàwó, o tún wá wọṣọ tó dúró dáadáa tí Omitaf Couture. Ẹ lọ sórí Instagram wọ́n ń gé ta obìnrin, wọ́n rán tọmọdé, wọ́n lè bá yín send it through DHL, àwọn family. Kódà tó bá rí yín rí, wọ́n lè rán yín láṣọ. Àwọn náà lọ rán aṣọ bàbá wa Olóyè Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho Òòṣà. Àwọn ló rán ti màmá tó bí mi lọ́mọ títí tó fi kú. So ibẹ̀ kọ́ mo fẹ́ lọ. So I was privileged to go there yesterday. So when you are thinking that ìyá akọ̀wà lórí social media, àmọ́ra wa rí, irọ́ ni. Àjọ máa ríra wa níjọ́ kan. Ìgbà tájọ máa ríra wa yẹn la mọ̀. So whoever is coming to London and you want to just say hello to me and you want me to meet up with, please, meet and greet. Koiki máa wà ní London, yọjú sí mi kárí ẹ, kádẹ́jọ sọ̀rọ̀. Order for me no So let's come back to this quickly. I like to take my time because of a rush, but let's push now a little bit to see any other things to do. And sitting down here, I do appreciate you. Yes, somebody say, Koiki, you are Yoruba and not Nigerian. That is a false identity. But right now, I am a Nigerian based on the way Nigeria has been created. Yes, I am a Yoruba. But Nigeria is still a country, and until it dissolves, and we will then be fully identified as Yoruba people. But officially, we are Nigerians. Some of us still have our Nigerian passport. Kò ń ṣe gbogbo aládé American passport. Bí àwọn grandma àti granddad mo rí lánàá. Because to fly from America, what day need your Friday? They are probably at the airport on their way back to the US. Can you imagine that? Within 48 hours, Koko wa London ko jáde. Many people wants to do the same thing from Nigeria to UK that colonize us, but you can't do it. Many people wants to do the same thing. Pé kó sáré wọ London, kó dẹ̀ jáde, but you can't do it because we have been given a false hope that by 2075, Nigeria will be a better place when I will be what years? Biden administration under fire in Nigeria over religious freedom report. Let's read quickly. How many of you remember Joe Biden? Ti dàgbà. Tẹ́ bá rí tí Trump tó bá ń bú Biden, ẹ má béèrè pé The way Trump speaks sometimes, I just wish we have a president that can do the same thing in the current Nigeria. That doesn't care, you know, ẹ lọ wo tó sọ fún Macron. Ẹ lọ wo tó sọ fún Keir Starmer. That is the kind of leadership you want. Somebody that throws it out, doesn't care, and I have a lot to talk about him today. Happy Easter. We're just under the first hour of the program. It might be a 3 hours program, so the bandano every time I say come out Juno Chori and Dano family Lenny. Happy Easter Sunday, and may the Lord bless us, you know, in Jesus' name. Amen. Inshallah, last Shedumari. Happy Sunday. Mukibuboyin. Emma Ekinti Daruko, so that we can get onto it. Cameroon. President Joe Biden and his administration have come under severe censure in Nigeria over the State Department latest report on religious freedom in the world. Majajesin, Feselesin Sile, Alawuni, Kinikoni. I see all these, you know, I see them as people creating problems. Because, kò sí bẹ́ ṣe lè ṣe lè Kristẹni kúrò nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Lè láwọn oníṣẹ̀ṣe kúrò. Lè lè Islam kúrò. But we are worried and concerned about certain sets of Islam being practiced in the part of the north that wants to be forced on those of us in the southwest. That must not be tolerated. Àwa tá jẹ́ Muslim gan a gbọ́dọ̀ tolerate it. I'm bossy ẹ̀yin Kristẹni. Mo rí ẹ̀ńbẹ̀ ní gbogbo Birmingham, mo rójú ẹ̀ńbẹ̀. Ó fún mi ní kan dùn o. Mo ń yọ̀ sí ẹni o. Gbogbo àwọn tá bá ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ à ń yọ̀ sí náà ni. Àbí tá bá yọ̀ sí lọ́rùn tá ní ká yọ̀ sí lọ́rùn. So let's come back quickly. Christian leaders are upset. Àwọn Kristẹni, àwọn leaders wọ́n bínú sí Joe Biden. Wọ́n bínú sí Joe Biden. Shalom to you all watching, and please share. Upset, the report fails to include Nigeria. This is where Trump is doing certain things that might hit Nigeria more. In tó ń bá lọ pẹ̀lú Iran yẹn, kò tí jẹ́ kó rántí Nigeria. Ọ̀rọ̀ Nigeria dàbí tó fi sínú kúlà tó ń wá solution sí. And I pray that this government and President Tinubu can look into this matter of the insecurity in depth so that we can deal with it once and for all. Because if President Tinubu complete his tenure, whether he returns back after this tenure, because his tenure is elapsing according to the Constitution, whether that Constitution is fraud or not, he has the last lap. They are going to contest. Nigerians are going to go out and vote. You vote for whoever you like. If Tinubu leaves office, or if he wins, he comes back for 2027, he will only have the same 4 years to run the matter again. Ọdún mẹ́rin náà ni, kò ń pẹ́. Ojú àwọn èèyàn ló máa ń pẹ́ sí. Say Baba, ó tẹ̀ ti kú nísìn. Remember when Say Baba came to power in 2015? Say Buhari, say Baba, say Buhari, say Baba. 8 years came and is gone. So some of you that think that President Tinubu will be there forever. No, he will be there for when he returns back. Toba vote fún, Toba padawa, fair enough. Toba then vote out. He will go and the new president comes in. But for our Yoruba, Àwa gbọ́dọ̀ máa wà worried, especially you, the Christians, because you are more in the danger than àwa ẹ̀yà tó kù nínú Nigeria. Because the agenda to eradicate Christianity is high, and we must not accept it. It doesn't matter your faith. We must not accept it. A gbọ́dọ̀ gbà. Mùsùlùmí ò gbọ́dọ̀ gbà tó jẹ́ Mùsùlùmí tó ní ẹ̀mí Ọlọ́run pé wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ yọ Christian kúrò nínú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. And the same thing, and just the same thing pẹ̀lú ìṣẹ̀ṣe òtẹ́lẹ̀ lọ́nà. Kò sí nǹkan tẹ́lẹ̀ ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ ìṣẹ̀ṣe. Ìyẹn máa wà ń bẹ̀ forever ni. So now, the Christian leaders were upset. This is in 2024. Kí Trump tó dé. To include Nigeria, where what failed, America under Joe Biden refused to put Nigeria under the spot watch. Where ìlú tẹ̀ ń pa àwọn Kristẹni nílùú yìí. Lóòótọ́ kò ń ṣe Kristẹni nìkan ló ń pa, but the persecution of Christians has been reported in depth. Ibẹ̀ ni máa lọ nísìn, tá bá máa padà sí the second hour of this broadcast, because somebody from Nigeria sent me a report that they wrote many years ago. Àwọn ọ̀tẹ̀ tí bẹ̀rẹ̀ Yoruba Nation, àwa ṣì olúkálùkù ń struggle, olówó àǹtá máa jẹ, à ń lọ ṣiṣẹ́. It's only now that we are understanding a lot of, but people have been writing thesis, report about Empa Christiani and in full details. In Tomu program, ìwádìí just Sunday Easter lélẹ̀. Wọ́n ti send message yẹn sí mi pé kí n lọ ka report táwọn kọ nípa Nàìjíríà ní 2016. Your 2016 from today, that's about 10 years ago. So in tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní 10 years ago, tí wọ́n kọ report lé lórí, kí ló ti yàtọ̀ today? Has anything changed from the persecution of Christians in Nigeria after 10 years? So imagine ka article, mo ti post it sórí àwọn tó bá wà lórí Koikimedia WhatsApp group. If you are not on the group, you will miss a lot of things because there are things that I share there that might not come to the social media. Taba fe lo live, àwọn ló máa kọ́kọ́ wà aware because I might share link síbẹ̀. So they are never going to miss when I'm live. Tó bá tẹ̀lé wo níjọ́ tá bá ń ṣe lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ wọ́n lá padà wò. So if you want the link, ask me. I will, put it out again. If you want my number, sometimes I put it on my status. I have 2 numbers. My numbers are public. So you can reach out to me on +4475 94050 979. That's one of my number. +44. That's the UK code. WhatsApp or direct. +4475 94050 979. And the second number that I call the studio number. Tabani kekpe, sorry, program studio number. Yelaman prefer kekpe si. That one is +44 74 04 40 5917. +44 74 04 40 5917. Let's come back. So the Christian leaders are upset that Joe Biden government failed to include Nigeria in the countries of particular concern, CPC. Kò ń ṣe political party o. CPC, countries of particular concern, watch list, which lists those nations, àwọn ìlú kan wà kó dàbí pé kó pa gbogbo Kristẹni run. In táwọn fẹ́ nìyẹn. Nigeria tó jẹ́ kí Joe Biden add sínú list yẹn kò add sínú ẹ̀. Kí ni reason? I don't know. There might be political reason, there might be interest reason, strategic partnership, and that is why, we must continue to look at things many times. Just like some of you are asking, Shashin Yoruba Nation. It's because you are saying certain things and you are wondering, Shey Yoruba Nation exist? Shashin Yoruba Nation. I got that question still yesterday. Ẹnìkan tẹ̀ tún ní ká lọ ṣe rally, mo ní rally pẹ̀lú gbogbo rally tá ti ṣe tó rally tá ṣe tá sanwó for anybody. We are more strategic than that now. Which lists those nations that have engaged in or tolerated particular severe violation of religious freedom. Ẹ gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn, violation of religious freedom. Mo fẹ́ kírun, o gbọ́dọ̀ fi tiẹ̀ dí tèmi lọ́wọ́. mo fẹ́ lọ mọ́ṣáláṣí, má fi church tiẹ̀ dí tèmi lọ́wọ́, mo ń lọ sí church, má fi tiẹ̀ dí tèmi lọ́wọ́. This is how life is meant to be. But unfortunately, in Nigeria today, we saw Christians in Plateau State blown apart because they are Christians. We saw the massacre in Owo, Ondo State, because they are Christians. And as we are celebrating the Easter today, is just to remind us that Christians are still going through a lot of persecution and something needs to be done to stop it. Nigeria has a population of 230 million people, almost evenly divided between Christians mainly in the south and Muslims mainly in the north. Nigeria now has the infamous distinction of having the worst persecutor of Christians in the world. We have 195 countries in the world today. 195 countries, Lani Leni. And imagine a country, Nigeria, the 195 countries. Nigeria wá jẹ́ ìlú tí ó jẹ́ lára àwọn tó jẹ́ gbòógì tó ń persecute Christians. Being a Christian in Nigeria is a big problem. Pé mo jẹ́ Kristẹni bàbá wàhálà ní nínú Nigeria. Even it's still okay. Let's go back to Kwara State. How can people be worshiping? Amen, amen. What then she just sing? One jó, one kọrin, one hallelujah. And they were live. And people came in with a gun. Ṣebí lánàá tí mo lọ sí Nikai tí mo lọ ní Croydon. Mo lọ sí mo kọrí tó balloon síta. So bí ṣe déwájú building yẹn, woman yọ sí mi, ó ní, are you here for the outreach? Straight away I saw the banner from where I was standing outside. I saw that it was I won't mention the name of the church. I'm only no. But I didn't have to fight them. Oh, Nikai ni mo lọ fún Muslim lèmi o. Kí lélẹ́yìí kẹ́? Mo ní no. I'm actually here for another event. It's a wedding. I didn't even have to tell them it's a Nikai. Because they might understand me don't pè ní Nikai. Because kò ń ṣe gbogbo èèyàn ló jẹ́ Muslim tó máa mọ̀ tán pè ní Nikai. So I literally told her in a good way that I am here for a wedding, but I'm not sure this is for the wedding. Only no, this is an outreach. Money, thank you so much, sister. And I walked away. That is the kind of civilization we want in the Southwest. Kò ń ṣe èyí tí àwọn jàgídíjàgan ẹlẹ́sìn tó fẹ́ fi tí wọn kó bá gbogbo àwa tó kù. Wọ́n fẹ́ fi tí wọn kó bá ìṣẹ̀ṣe, wọ́n lè fi tí wọn kó bá Kristẹni. We will not tolerate it and we must not accept it. And we must speak out against those kind of injustice. This is where I come in all the time. My name is the last man standing. I will educate you to understand that according to this article, Joe Biden refused to put Nigeria on a spot watch for a Christian. Nigeria. I know during the election, some of you wanted Democrat to come, some of you wanted Republican. But sometimes you might not get everything you want in a particular government. Just like the government that is there today. We cannot sit here and be saying, oh, President Tinubu government is 100% working. I'll be telling lies. Does not mean because my principal believes and accepts that we need security. But what we are saying is that Tinubu coming into the government says he was going to do a lot of things, just like Buhari, but the damage of Nigeria is not yesterday. And it will continue like that for a very long time, even if Tinubu does another 4 years. But what we can do is to make sure that we continue to advocate for certain things, to put the pressure down. I don't want to go to a church in Ijebu-Ode, níbi tí mo ti ń bá wọn jó, tá tí ń ṣayọyọ, tí mo ń jó, all of a sudden it becomes bloodshed. Do you want to be in that kind of church? Mo ń bèrè ni o. Do you want to go to a church níbi tí wọ́n ti ń ṣèjọsìn, all of a sudden àwọn oníbọn kọ̀ dé, ó di gbàgbàgbà, ó di ọlọ́mọ mọ́mọ́mọ́? Do you know the kind of pain that people have gone through because of these? And when you look at all these and you ask yourself, where do we come in? We have porous borders. We have people that doesn't have any reason to be on our land. They're terrorizing us. They're calling them bandits. They are more powerful. They have weapons. They have they have sophisticated network. Call on phone, okay, the late Dr. Malafia Obadia. He said it. How many of you remember? Malafia told us that tẹ́ bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn tẹ́ ń sọ yìí, àwọn Fúlàní tẹ́ fi ń ṣeré tí gbogbo wa fi ń ṣeré tá fi ń ṣayọyọ yìí, ẹ ń wà more worried about Ìgbòho dé fìlẹ̀ APC lọ sí church ẹníjọ́ kan kí Fúlàní wọlé pa ẹ́ síbẹ̀. Ìyẹn ló máa ṣe understand pé n tí Ìgbòho ń béèrè fún ní security ó dà pé Koiki ń tẹ̀ ìyẹn kankan lẹ́ẹ̀ka lé o. But nítorí pé ẹ fẹ́ fi ẹ mọ̀ pé Yorùbá tèmi ó máa ń wà a little bit kind of, so bí a kì í sọ in English, because you want to put certain things before certain things. So nítorí pé Olóyèdé fìlẹ̀ APC nísìn ìyẹn dùn yín, but Fúlàní tó ń wọlé pààyàn kò dùn yín. Sometimes put yourself in people's shoes. Àwọn èèyàn wọ́n ń ṣèjọsìn, wọ́n ń jó báyìí nínú Easter Sunday, káwọn kan dẹ̀ kọ́ dẹ̀ fìbọn fọ́ gbogbo, kọ́ fọ́ orí ìyá, kọ́ pààyàn. Ẹ lọ wò ìyá tọ́pọ̀ mẹ́ tí ọ̀pọ̀ mẹ́ ní Plateau State, ó tẹ̀ fi àdá síbẹ̀ pé kọ́ lọ máa fi àdá yẹn bóyá kó lọ máa bá àwọn tó pàjà. But in tó ń dùn ẹ̀yin nísìn ni pé Ìgbòho dé fìlà APC, ìyẹn ló ń dùn àwọn èèyàn. I don't understand how we are humans. Àti wá dín tí a tẹ̀ fẹ́ràn ara wa mọ́. Àwọn ti dé fìlà APC, kí ló dé, kìnìkan ẹ sọ fún kó sọ̀rọ̀, ó ti sọ̀rọ̀ jù, bla 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 bla. But àwọn tó ń terrorize wa, kò sí tó kàn wá pẹ̀lú àwọn yẹn náà. But torí pé ó dé fìlà APC yẹn, ìyẹn wà more concern. Ẹgbọ́n tí bàbá yìí sọ, ọ̀rọ̀ tó sọ yìí, kọ́lọ̀ fọ́run kẹ, ó ti sọ kò ń ṣe léni ló sọ. Mo kẹ́yìn yan wọn lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. What happened to my mobile? Oh, that's strange. All right, let's come here. I hope I can pick it from here. Mo kẹ́yìn yan wọn lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. Ẹ bá mi pàdé rí. Àbẹ́ ti bá mi pàdé. Mo kí yín. Mo ní mi ní the last man standing. Fúlàní tó ń wọlé wá pààyàn. Èèyàn bí inú pé kọ́tẹ̀ gbé security fún lóyè kátẹ̀ dákun àwọn tó wá wọlé pààyàn yìí, àwọn pààyàn. Anyway, I think I'm gonna have to move on because I wanted to play that Malafia, but for whatever reason, and I don't know if I have it in my archive here that we can just play. Okay, I have it here without going to the YouTube. Let's listen to it. Actually, I still need the mic. I don't know why Kilo Freezy. Okay. You see, when I was running a test on this laptop yesterday, for whatever reason now today, in Komi Lotun Shebai. Don't know. Oh boy. Moke Enyawa ni gbogbo ibi tí Ọlọ́run bá ti ní kí ohùn mi dé kẹ́ ti máa gbọ́ mi. Ohùn náà dẹ̀ máa jáde. Kò ní sú wa, kò ní rẹ̀ wá, a dẹ̀ ní ṣe lásán. Ibi tá dẹ̀ ń lọ, a máa débẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run. Ìgbà tá fẹ́ débẹ̀ yẹn ni àìtí lè sọ pé gbà báyìí. But mo mọ̀ pé láìpẹ́ láì jìnnà, dúdùn lọ́sàn máa so. Dúdùn lọ́sàn máa so. All right, I'm going to move on because for whatever reason, I don't know. The system just refused to bring the sound. So we'll move out without doing that. So anyway, so we know what Malafia said then. And then till today, Inti Malafia saw is still happening in Nigeria. So let's come back to, Christian persecution before we start going into the section that I want us to look into. So let's go back to that article. Nigeria has a population of 230 million people, almost evenly divided between Christians and South Muslim in the north. Nigeria now has the infamous distinction of having the worst persecutor of Christians in the world. Every year, ní ọdọọdún, almost 4,000 Christians are killed in the country, according to Global Christian Relieved. Over 4,000 Christiani ló ń pa. It is devastating to hear that Joe Biden administration has disappointed the persecuted church in Nigeria again, said Father Moses Laura Poole, Director of Communication and the Vicar General Pastoral for Catholic Diocese of Makurdi in Nigeria, Benue State. They've dealt with them many times. Okay, thank you. He noted that while the report recognized the uptick in attacks, killings, and kidnaps, all leading to what is called a climate of fear and displacement. I want us to take note of those words. Mo fẹ́ ká wo ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn. The climate of fear. Kí ló ń pè ní fear? Ìbẹ̀rù. Kí ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀? Fear. And humans are meant to be fearful of things. Tó bá ṣẹlẹ̀, kí ló máa... Because if somebody told me, for example, that my mother would die, if somebody told me that my mother would die, ẹ̀rù yẹn ti máa bà mí sílẹ̀. But the fact that ó kàn dé lójijì, fear yẹn, ikú o. But after a while, you start understanding that, okay, there's a reason. Then when we look at the other word that says displacement, let's look at the English dictionary for the word displacement. Kí ló ń pè ní displacement? It's a very, very mo mọ meaning ẹ̀, but mo fẹ́ jẹ́ káwọn èèyàn kan tí kò mọ meaning ẹ̀. Displacement. It's unfortunate that I can't get a sound out from my laptop this afternoon. For whatever reason, maybe I'm going to reboot it and maybe that will pick up. What does displacement mean? The action of moving something from its place or position. Nígbà tí Buhari tó wá, ó ní, ẹ jẹ́ káwọn màálù máa rìn káàkiri. Lánàá tí ìkan náà àwọn staff wa on their way back home, ó ń padà lọ sí base, ó lọ sí Ondo Auto Rally tó lọ cover. Nínú Ondo State, ní area kan ní Ondo State, máa post video yẹn. Àwọn màálù ṣe kí ni? Wọ́n rìn lójú títì, bọ́dà pa àwọn Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn ló sọ fún wọn pé iṣẹ́ ẹ̀rí. So when we say displacement, the act of moving something from its natural environment. So àwọn Fúlàní mọ̀ tán ṣe, Buhari ní ẹ jẹ́ kó wọlé, give them the land, give them your water. Màálù ló fẹ́ wá momi, màálù ló fẹ́ wá jẹun. Climate change wà ní north. Irọ́ tán pa fún gbogbo àgbáyé nìyẹn. They've told the world that there's a climate change and there's a reason for their cows to come down to the south. Àwa ní greener pasture. Níbi tí green ilẹ̀ wa máa ń green, kó wá jẹ oko wa. Tó bá tẹ̀ jẹ́ pé wọ́n ń jẹ oko nìkan, ṣe mọ̀ pé àtẹ̀ ní máa sọ̀rọ̀. Even though it's wrong, right? We know that. Tó bá jẹ́ pé oko nìkan ni wọ́n ń jẹ, pé wọ́n kọ̀ wá jẹ oko, ṣe mọ̀ pé we will not worry too much. But the fact that kò ń ṣoko nìkan ló ń jẹ, bó ṣe ń jẹ oko ló ń jẹyàn. Because some of you don't see the kind of images and videos that we see in the last 5 years, and it has been happening for many years. But in the last 5 years, some of the... Okay, ta ló rántí bàbá kan tí BBC Yoruba ṣe interview fún, tó ní nígbà tí mo gbọ́ ọ̀kadà lọ tí mo wá padà bọ̀ mo wá rí lójú títì mo rí ó kọ́kọ́ fi àdá sọ̀ǹda ó fi gé ọwọ́ bàbá yẹn ní òun tún fẹ́ fi ọwọ́ kejì òun fẹ́ fi gbé ìbọn ṣẹ́rẹ́ ọwọ́ kejì yẹn ó tún ṣá bàbá yẹn wá dẹni tí kò lọ́wọ́ méjèèjì mọ́ báyìí wọ́n ti ṣá ọwọ́ yẹn. mo lè jẹun mọ́ mo lè wọ ṣòkòtò mọ́ ẹ̀yọ́ ọmọ Nàìjíríà ẹ gbà mí. Many of you remember that video? If you remember, comment. Ta ló rántí fídíò yẹn? A lè rántí mọ́nà àgbà tó ń ṣá wa ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wa. Ìgbà tó rẹ̀ ń ṣe ìdílé wa ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sí. àwọn tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ìdílé ẹ̀ nísìn bàbá yẹn nìkan ló lè sọ bó ṣe ń wẹ̀ bó ṣe ń jẹun bó ṣe ń wọ pátá bó ṣe ń wọ ṣòkòtò because ẹni tó ń fọwọ́ mú ṣòkòtò kí n tó wọ ṣòkòtò yìí nísìn ọwọ́ méjì ni mo lò kẹwàá imagine kí ọwọ́ yẹn kó má wá sí bẹ̀ mọ́ ara act of moving Fulani from one base to another. They are moving them continuously. Kí ló ń bọ̀ wá ṣe nísàlẹ̀? How many of you remember during the COVID? Nígbà COVID tí àwa wà nínú ilé tá à ń pariwo ebi ń pa wá o, wọ́n kàn rú wọn wá láti truck by truck. Kí ló ń bọ̀ wá ṣe? So when you hear the word displacement from his natural environment, ká máa move Fulani láti ibìkan sí ibìkan, and that cannot continue for a very long time. So let's go straight to the part tí mo fẹ́ ká wò lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Èní ni ọjọ́ karùn-ún sẹ́ nínú oṣù kẹrin ọdún 2026. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa káàkiri ibi tí ẹ ti ń wò wá tí ẹ ti ń gbọ́ wa káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé. Now, this kí ni máa pè research? Oh, okay, let me put it this way. What I'm about to read to you, you can also do a Google check and, put it maybe in one of your archives or do whatever you want to do with it. But one thing is, ẹni tó kọ ntí mo fẹ́ kà ọmọ Yorùbá ni. We might not be able to read a whole lot, and mo dẹ̀ máa yọ díẹ̀ nínú ẹ̀ ni. But mo kàn fẹ́ kí àjọ kọ́gbọ́n díẹ̀ nínú ẹ̀ pé ọ̀rọ̀ táwa ṣe ń pariwo nípa persecution tí mò ń sọ bọ̀ ní the part 1 of this broadcast. Somebody else is also doing their own bit. Happy Easter to every one of us. Mo kí gbogbo wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. So you can find it on the Asia Pacific Journal of Multidisciplinary Research, Volume 4, Number 1, February 2016. In Timofekai. That's 10 years ago. 10 years ago, 2016, I never saw or come across this particular, research. But because I have a lot of people that send different things to us, with Mr. Koiki, mo fẹ́ ká gbé kíní yẹ̀ wò bóyá ó lè wúlò fún intense láti fi educate àwọn èèyàn wa, láti fi sọ fáwọn èèyàn wa pé báyìí ni báyìí kọ́. And this is where I'm going to read, and then I will use it more maybe for the next couple of days before we are satisfied. So lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí, for those of you that want to go and find this and read it yourself, it's called the Asia Pacific Journal of Multidisciplinary Research, Volume 4, Number 1, February 2016. And the title says, Christians' Response to Persecution. It is implications to contemporary churches in Nigeria. I repeat that topic again. That is on it. Christians' response to persecution. It is implications to contemporary churches in Nigeria. Asia Pacific Journal of Multidisciplinary Research, Volume 4, Number 1, 38 to 50, February 2016. Written by Stephen Olushola Awotunde. Ẹni tó kọ ntí mo fẹ́ kà yìí 2016 làwọn ti jókòó lọ́ ti ṣe research. Nígbà tó wá kọ́ tán, wọ́n wá deliver fáwọn Asia Pacific Journal of Multidisciplinary Research. Because research is not something everybody can do. Especially, we haven't got enough time. So we are grateful to have people that I've done, and it's only page 1 to 13, so it's not a lot. You know, we can bounce it in 1 hour, but it's because I do a lot of talking, explanation, you know, around my broadcast, and that's the reason why, you know, it might take a bit longer. Once again, a very good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorsteps. Enini Ojo Kanu. Bear with us with our network. I'm aware of the problem. All we need to do is just to upgrade the system, which, you know, is already in the pipeline. So within the next 14 days maximum, stable, and we can, you know, break in transmission. So let's go into it straight away. Again, Stephen Olushola Awotunde wrote in 2016, Christians' response to persecution, its implications to contemporary churches in Nigeria. This was someone from the Department of Religious Study, Faculty of Art, Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoiwoye, Ogun State, Nigeria. Date received was January 26, 2016. Date reverse was March 5, 2016. So what I'm about to read to us is a 2016 research. And when I finish reading as much as I can, maybe you can help us to understand, has anything changed since 2016? Has our life been better since 2016 with the Christians in Nigeria? Abstract. The series of crises reported daily on local, national, and international media on killing and destruction of Christians and properties worth millions of naira is alarming. Christian persecution in today's world has taken a dangerous trend that warrants academic discourse. Persecution has become a serious challenge which has turned to global threat. The church has suffered more security challenges from people of opposing religious faith who felt threatened by the unique presence of God, convincing significantly a particularistic doctrine claims. The paper apparently evaluates the response of the church in the Bible, especially in the New Testament during the time of Apostle in Acts 4, 23 to 31. For this reason, this paper adopted historical narrative and exegetical approaches. The paper postulates reintegrating, internalizing and implementing the importance of prayer, unity, religious living, and boldness in the contemporary church. This paper discusses how Christians, remember this is in Nigeria, should respond during the time of persecution from within without profound recommendations that will reduce to the barest minimum the persecution of Christians throughout the world. Key word: Christians, response, persecution, and church. Keywords, àwọn nǹkan tó ṣe pàtàkì nínú gbogbo tá a fẹ́ kà yìí. Christianity, response, persecution, and the church. So let's look at the introduction. Introduction: the Bible records persecution of God's people in both the Old and New Testament. Neighboring tribes such as the Philippines and the Amalekites instantly attacked the ancient Jew because they rejected idolatry and worshiped the one true God. When they were backsliding, the Jews persecuted their own prophet who were trying to bring them back. The Pharisees persecuted Jesus because he did not follow their man-made legalism. Following Christ dealt, the early church stated, one of his most zealous opponents was Saul of Tarsus, later known as Apostle Paul. After Paul converted to Christianity and became a missionary, the Roman Empire began to terrorize Christians. And the Roman Empire did so much in this great country called United Kingdom for many years. For over 400 years, the Roman Empire was running the show in the UK. Amazing time when it comes to history. The Roman Empire began to terrorize Christians. Paul was beheaded by the order of the Emperor Nero, and the Apostle Peter was reported to have been crucified upside down in the Roman arenas. Killing Christians turned into a form of entertainment in Rome, as believers were executed in the stadium by wild animals, tortured, and being set on fire. Systematic persecution against Christians ended in the Roman Empire about 313 AD. Interesting how we are now in the 21st century and what played out in Tosheleni thousands of years ago. We are still witnessing it, especially in Nigeria. How do we stop it? What can be done to minimize it, if not stop it? Happy Easter. When the Emperor Constantine I signed the Edict of Norland, guaranteeing freedom of religion to all people. You cannot live in the UK and say you will not have religious tolerance. You won't. You will not be able to live here. UK is a country where it has good religious tolerance. Whether you are Buddhist, you are Hindu, you are pagan, whether you believe, you don't believe, you will respect everybody's faith. You will not use your faith, especially àwọn tó máa ń ṣe àwọn wàásù kọ̀ọ̀kan ní Nàìjíríà. Many of such has happened here in the UK in my 29 years. They have been dealt with. I remember a particular imam in Finsbury Park. Tó bá gbọ́ doctrine ẹ̀, wàá fẹ́ lè lọ gbé ntí kò jẹ́ kó gbé. We are seeing that now happening in certain part of Yoruba land. Especially, tẹ́ bá kọ́ àwọn ọmọ kékèké. Àwọn ọmọ kékèké dẹ̀ ló easy láti deceive. All you need to do is just sit them down and start, implementing nonsense and jagantis into their medulla oblongata. And by the time you understand, tọ́ba máa fi pé 13, they become radical. I don't want to live in a society where we have radical Islam. And we should be worried for Yoruba land. We should be worried for Nigeria, because the radicalism of that is already happening. We can see it. We can feel it. We can even touch it. But we are thinking, Koiti Dodo Watan. You think that it's just the Fulanese. We also have many radical across, the Yoruba land that are saying they're practicing Islam. Islam is a peaceful religion, because I was born a Muslim and I've never been radicalized. But ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ló ṣe rí lénìí? Mo ń béèrè ni o. Ṣé torí pé èmi jẹ́ Muslim tí mo wà radical, ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ làwọn Mùsùlùmí tèmi ṣe rí? So, I'm just going to go straight to objective of the study. Kí ni ìdí tí wọ́n ṣe gbé ètò research yìí kalẹ̀? The objective. Kí ládé ta ṣe fẹ́ kúrò ní Nàìjíríà àti sọ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìdí. Just like olóṣèlú náà máa sọ reason tí, àbọ̀rọ̀mọ̀yé nísìn. So let's come back. This study aimed at examining the Christian church's response to persecution and its implications to contemporary churches in Nigeria. Specifically, it aimed to trace the historical beginnings with an S of persecutions in the early Christian churches to determine the response of the early Christians towards persecution, to trace the historical beginnings of religious persecution in Nigeria, and to cite the implications of the findings to contemporary Christian church in Nigeria. A fẹ́ mọ ìdí, kí ló fà á, kí ló dé tí wọ́n ṣe jàǹbá fún Kristẹni. Persecution in the early church. Christianity was originally considered as synonym of Judaism and so it enjoyed considerable sympathy and acceptance within the Royal Empire, the Roman Empire, rather. Nevertheless, there was conflict subsequently according to Fatokun. When Christians first came, it was considerable favor by the policy of the Pax Romanian simply because of its correlation with Judaism. Even there were Christians in the imperial palace, as the Philippians 4:22 reveals. The Romans could probably not at first appreciate the disparity between the Jews who practiced Judaism, which was a religious licita in the empire, and the Christian Jew Act 1812-17. However, later, due to jealousy by the Jews of the rapid spread of Christianity, they made known of the Roman authority the difference between the Jesus of Nazareth. Let's move forward. So I'm just going to take it bit by bit. Now, let's look at overview of religious persecution in Nigeria. Láti ìgbà wo gan ni wọ́n tẹ̀ tí ń ṣe jàǹbá fún Kristẹni. And when we talk about Christians, some people think that maybe the white garment churches are not included. Maybe àwọn tó kàn máa ń wọ normal aṣọ lọ sí church. Àwọn tí wọ́n bá wa fa sùúrùtù yìí, kò sí ìtọ́ kàn wọ́n. How many of you remember the church tó lọ ní Ogun State tó bá ọmọ kékeré sùn, tó bá àgbàlagbà sùn? These are animals that care less whether you are in the white garment church or you are in the normal church. Once again, bear with us with our network. I know it's frustrating trying to watch and then it's taking you out, it's kicking you out. All is because there is issues that we're resolving with the broadband. So very soon you will not have that issue. And Emma Binusiwa Lenkonsi, especially in Facebook. So I'm just going to wrap it up quickly, but Matupada Walati Washe part 2 of this topic. Overview of religious persecution in Nigeria. Prior to 1980s, 1980s, there existed cases of religious persecution tension in Nigeria. So witness it has been going on, it has been happening since the 80s, and it's not likely to end with the way things are right now. There was a dangerous reawakening of persecution which assumed a serious dimension. Religious conflict, associated violence, translated into inter-religious confrontation in some areas, as well as assigned an ethnic and religional character. According to Akani, the rivalry between Christian and Islam is known to all. The rivalry. This is occasioned basically by attempt of each of the two religions to have greater percentage of people of the world. Perhaps the above statement is the key reason for the persecution among the world religions. According to Adedayo, in spite of numerous security agencies put in place in Nigeria, there seems to be nothing to write home about in nation's security situation. The rate at which religion organizations are being persecuted needs attention of scholars. In most cases, Christians always being at the receiving end. The persecution faced by Christians in the contemporary time all over the world cannot be overemphasized. In defense of the name of Christ, the Christian hold tenaciously unto it as the sole name by which human beings can be saved. Christians from all walks of life face sundry persecution challenges by fanatic Muslims. And we have them more now in the southwest part of Nigeria. And some adherents of other religions, faith, and philosophically ideology. Both print and electronic media are full of reports of gruesome murders of Christians, especially in Muslim-dominated villages, towns, cities, and nations of the world. Christianity as a religion and its adherents have grossly suffered persecution in the country. The generally acknowledged first religious crisis in Nigeria, according to Olutola and Fatokun, was dated back to 1987. In 1987, arising from misunderstanding among Christians and Muslims at the College of Education, Kafansha, Kaduna State, which soon spread to other parts of the state, leading to the burning of places of worship with many lives and properties worth millions of naira. So one in 1987, pé a máa kọ́kọ́ tẹ̀ fẹ́ rí ìjà pé wọ́n pa Kristẹni ní 1987. There was massive destructions of lives and properties. Tá bá wo ọmọ tó pa ní some few years back, I think her name is Rebecca. I hope I remember that name. And till date, nobody has been persecuted. Àìtí rí pé wọ́n ti rányàn kan lọ sẹ́wọ̀n pé òun ló pa ọmọ yẹn. Tó bá ń ṣe Rebecca lórúkọ ẹ̀, ẹ rán mi lórúkọ ẹ̀ nínú comment section. The most amazing in the first decade of 21st century was just crisis. Deborah Eshegoni, thank you so much. Not Rebecca, Deborah. Can anybody tell us if Deborah's death has been closed, is still ongoing? Somebody has been charged to prison for that purpose? But it has happened before in Kaduna State in 1987. So I want you to read justice in 1987, and we are looking for justice for Deborah. I pray and hope that everyone that is going through persecution, whether you're Muslim, Christians, or traditional list in Nigeria, will be getting justice. Let's go further. So the most amazing in the first decade of the 21st century was just crisis, which started in 2001. Leading to the loss of many lives and destructions of properties of many Christians. Just knock on a Plateau State. Am I right? If you Plateau State, not in Jos. Abi, Oyato Sirawon. Plateau is under Jos, right? It's the capital city of Jos. As far back as 2001, they have been dealt with. And in 2026, we witnessed Plateau State, where the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, visited and addressed at the airport and went back. And I think I saw a news flash that Kaduna, there was an explosion somewhere in Kaduna as well today. But all this has been happening as far back as 2001. So Konshele ni ló bẹ̀rẹ̀. So Plateau State is the capital city of Jos. Yeah. According to Clark, whenever there is no legal protection in place to prevent it, the powerful are able to prey on the powerless. Àwọn alágbára Fúlàní, wọ́n wá ń lo agbára wọn tó wà nínú government for many years. Tó bá ti mú ní àwọn bandit tó pààyàn, rather than persecute them, take them to the legal system, wá panu ẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀. How many people saw that happening as well, even in the southwest? Lọ́dọ̀ wa náà. Tẹ́ bá mú wọn, tẹ́ bá ti mú wọn dé station, kọ́ọ̀lù máa wá látòkè, wọ́n fi wọ́n lẹ̀, wọ́n lọ nìyẹn. And this has been going on. Kò ń ṣe lénìí. So how do we stop it? How do we minimize the evil of these people? Because number one, you cannot live with them because they are not people that we can live with, but they are already moving in large numbers across towns and cities and villages. But the above assertion doesn't always happen. The powerful sometimes in some places choose not to prey on the powerless, even though there is nothing to stop them. Sometimes the powerful, àwọn alágbára, the powerful, àwọn tó ní agbára ní òkè ọya ní north níbẹ̀. are quite nice, allowing the powerless to enjoy a modicum of freedom and property while living unreliably. Benevolence is never sufficient as only constraint on the powerful. The only way to guarantee freedom and personal safety for the powerless, tó bá ní powerless, àwọn tí mẹ̀kúnnù tí wọ́n ní agbára. Agbára tó dẹ̀ kọ́ ní ìjọba ló yẹ kó fún wọn ní agbára yẹn. Yes, Jos is the capital of Plateau State. Okay, the other way around. Thank you. Jos is the capital of Plateau State. Thank you so much for the correction. When people are powerless, níbọn, ní kankan. So government náà la máa ké sí lọ́rùn. Ẹ gbà wá. President Tinubu ẹ gbà wá. Ní Jos yìí wọ́n pa wá. Ní Kaduna wọ́n pa wá. Ní Zamfara wọ́n pa wá. Ní Sokoto wọ́n pa wá. Ní Ọ̀yọ́ wọ́n jẹ́ agbádùn. Ní Ondo wọ́n jẹ́ ká gbádùn. Ní Anambra wọ́n pa wọ́n. Ní Enugu wọ́n pa wọ́n. Wọ́n wá ń pa Kristẹni, bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ló ń pa Mùsùlùmí ti ìsàlẹ̀ lọ́hùn. The powerless, àwọn tó ní agbára. So this is where we that have the voice, the media like these, must now come out and talk about it. Because if somebody wrote this in 2016, I'm wondering why this was not circulated across Nigeria. Or maybe they did. And probably I didn't manage to get it. Because in Timonkai 2016, lẹ́ni tí ṣe research yẹn. Because communicate pẹ̀lú mi, àti máa ń sọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀, wọ́n náà wọ́n ní research kan táwọn kan in 2016. Maybe I might be interested to go and read it and share it with every one of us, which is what we're doing now. And that's the beauty of the social media. Because social media going tí gbèrò báyìí ní 2016, ó ti wà bọ̀ kò dàbí nísìn, mo kí gbọ́n tẹ́ ń gbọ́ wa. Ní pẹ́ púpọ̀ torí network and a lot of people have other things to do. The only way to guarantee freedom and personal safety for the powerless is by enshrining that guarantee in a framework of law that protect the right of all, including the powerless. Wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ fi sínú òfin Constitution Nigeria pé a máa protect gbogbo ẹ̀yà regardless of whether you are Muslims, you are Christian, you are oníṣẹ̀ṣe. Báwo lẹni tó ń ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ṣe tí ẹ máa lọ bá nínú ilé ẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ máa bá sọ̀rọ̀ anyhow tẹ́lẹ̀ máa dí pẹ̀lú ẹ̀. We have seen a lot of those videos. I mean, kí ni ẹni ṣe pẹ̀lú yín? Kí lẹni tó ń ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ṣe fi ṣọdún tẹ lọ ń dààmú ẹ̀? I mean, this should not be happening in 2026. And that's one of the reasons why àwa máa wá jáde ní síta wá sọ pé ṣé irú country la lè máa bá lọ báyìí? Àwọn kan ní no. Àti défìlẹ̀ APC yẹn ló ń sọ. Àwọn tó fẹ́ gba ilẹ̀ yín kò ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nìkan ló fẹ́ gbà. Wọ́n fẹ́ jẹ́ kẹ́ rí ìjọsìn ṣe ní gbogbo àdúgbò yín. Ìkọ̀kọ̀ ń ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ ló máa gbé lẹ́kọ̀ọ́. So gbogbo àwọn tó ń gbé lókè ọ̀yà yẹn kí ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wọn? So let's move swiftly because of the time. So mo kí ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa lẹ́ǹkan sí níbikíbi tí ẹ bá ti ń gbọ́ wa. The only way lẹ́ǹkan sí to guarantee freedom and personal safety for the powerless, àwọn mẹ̀kúnnù, is by enshrining that guarantee in a framework of law that protect the right of all, including the powerless. This is what all needed to know, to understand any form of religious persecution or religious conflict. The persecuting of religious minorities occurs whenever the rights and freedom of minorities are not guaranteed by law, but are contingent on which faction holds power. Ta ló ní agbára lọ́wọ́? And when we look at today, we thought that, okay, Muslim ticket out there to reduce the problem here, kakabe, it has not helped. The persecution of Christians in Nigeria dated back to the days or period of the missionaries, according to Ajayi. Missionaries were often harassed, captured, and thus disrupting their evangelical assignment. Owadayo and Ayegboyin 2008 record that Ajayi Crowther faced hostility from both the local natives and the commercial companies. Ajayi Crowther was persecuted in his attempt at laying the solid foundation of church or mission at Gabe. I don't know what part of Nigeria was that. Maybe Abeokuta. Okay, I think that's Niger State. I don't know. He saw his position of the confluence to be of vital importance to the promotion of trade up and the Niger. He noted in his journal that the people of Gabe were willing to hear the good news. He was very sad on one occasion to learn from report coming in from Lokoja that the place, Gabe, had been plundered after being destroyed with fire. Owodayo records the Og of Ajayi Crowther. Bishop Crowther once fell victim to the treachery of his own time friend, Chief Aboko. He and his son, Debison, visited the chief in his Okokoin village on one of his journey up in the Niger in 1867. Aboko ordered his men to clear Crowther's boat of all cargo. His personal luggage, apparel, etc. were removed. Bishop Crowther and his men spent the night naked outside Oboko, claimed that he regarded it as an offense for English merchant to refuse to recognize him as a superintendent of the Board of Trade in the part of the river. We also know that there was a conflict during those era. And what was the conflict? Conflict of the colonization. People came in, and want to supersede the culture that they met. Àwọn náà dé ẹ̀bá táwọn kan ṣe culture wọn, wọ́n ní bó ṣe ń ṣe, and you started trying to change it. And that also have a lot of backlash. And we're still experiencing that today. Tàbá sọ̀rọ̀ ṣé agbára ṣì wà lọ́wọ́ àwọn ọba wa. We know what the colonization did, by taking the power kúrò lọ́wọ́ àwọn ọba wa tó gbé fáwọn politicians lẹ́nìí. So let's move forward. It was not only Crowther that suffered persecution. There were other glory stories of suppression and oppression of the missionaries. Ẹni tó tẹ̀ ṣẹ̀sìn gan ní Nàìjíríà lẹ́nìí is under the subjugated of suppression, and they are suffering from persecution. Hardly people can have 3 square meals. Hardly you have good health care, good roads, good communication, good education. There's no jobs, there's no pension. The future is just blink for millions of people. They're waking up and just sleeping, just looking for a way out. It's a blink future, especially for our Yoruba. And we have to be worried and concerned. So it's not just about the topic of the persecution of the Christians. It's also the persecution of humans within Nigeria today, whether you even believe as a Christian or not. On Sunday 13, it did not on Sunday, Abi, but this was October 1867. All the denominational churches in Abeokuta were not only attacked, but the members who were ready for service were stripped. Do you understand that? Ní 1867, ní ìlú Abeokuta, ní Ogun State ńbẹ̀ yẹn, nílùú tiwa, wọ́n jẹ́ káwọn tó fẹ́ ṣẹ̀sìn, wọ́n já wọn sí ìwòwò. Many people, even in Nigeria today, are already stripped naked. What is já sí ìwòwò? What is so inti ṣe, what is so yín dà? Inte jẹ, what is so yín dì? And they know how to play your minds. They're very good at that. And this has been going on for decades. So even Sunday 13th of October 1867, all the denominational churches ní gbogbo Abeokuta were not only attacked, but all the members were ready for service. Àwọn member tó takú pé a máa ṣe service wọn ẹ̀yìn níbí báyìí kò sí tó jọ. They were stripped naked. So even if you are not a Christian, in Nigeria today. Are you not stripped naked? Ṣé fi pé gbogbo àwọn tó ń wọṣọ tó ń lọ nínú Nigeria yẹn, some of them, their mind is 300 miles away from it, their bodies. They are like a walking dead corpse. Ọkàn rìn ni. Ẹlòmíì tó ń rìn yẹn, tó bá lọ fọwọ́ cup tí báyìí, tó bá ṣubú sí ẹ lọ́rùn, o máa ra mílíkì kó tó kúrò ńbẹ̀, wà á dẹ̀ ra Bonfita. Because pressure tó wà lára ẹ̀, in tó gbé sára, ó pọ̀. So, let me go back to can pick around it now. Persecution of the early Nigerian convert is known to have started as early as 1538 in the Kingdom of Benin. But the main series of the outbreak took place during the second wave of the European expansion, mainly between the years of 1848 and 1916. If you might like a date, 1916. That means pé gbogbo time yẹn wọ́n ti ń palẹ̀mọ́ sílẹ̀ bó ṣe máa sọ wá di ẹyọ kan. Tó fi pè ní 1914 fraudulent amalgamation. And the reason why we are all going through what we are going through today, mo kí gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ ń kí mi, màá kí n dáadáa lẹ́yìn tá a bá ṣe presentation yìí tán. Ẹ gbọ́ déètì yẹn lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Wọ́n ní from 1848 up to 1916, a dẹ̀ gbọ́ pé 1914 ni wọ́n amalgamate in Nigeria, according to the information, by which time the British colonial rule was becoming firmly established and initiating what we counter persecution of traditional Nigerian religions. The straight persecution of Christian converts by indigenous authority continued thereafter, only locally in more isolated. Bí a tó bá jẹ́ pé wọ́n tẹ̀ fi wá sílẹ̀ nígbà yẹn ká wà bá ṣe wà, maybe we might not be seeing this persecution. Ẹni tó bá dẹ̀ wá fẹ́ ṣe ẹ̀sìn Christian, á ṣe nígbà yẹn. But because àwọn náà wá pẹ̀lú agenda wọn, I'm talking about the British during that time. Because agenda tó bá wá, òun ni a ṣe ń suffer títí dé ní. Whether ẹ sọ pé wọ́n ti fún wa ní independent, whether ẹ sọ fún wa pé wọ́n ti gba independent wa, ṣèbá àwa lẹ́yẹ ká look after ara wa. Ẹ fọmọ lọ́yàn, ẹ yé gbọ̀yàn lẹ́nu ọmọ. Ṣé nísìn after independent, ẹ lè sọ fún wa pé Britain ti yọwọ́ kúrò ní ọ̀rọ̀ ayé wa? I'm sure everybody knows that is not going to be true. Because ìrìn àjò lẹ káàárọ̀ òjíire, ó ní bá ṣe ń ṣe, ó ní bá ṣe ń tò, ó ní tá à ń ṣe, but àwọn náà wá wò pé agenda tàwọn náà ẹ jẹ́ ká gbé sí lọ́wọ́. Maybe also that brought a lot of conflict. Until today, ìgbà táwọn ṣe tí wọ́n tán, àwọn kan tún wá ṣẹ̀ tún wá dé, àwọn yẹn pera wọn ní Muslim. Àwọn yẹn wá ṣẹ̀ wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ wàhálà, máa pààyàn, gbé obìnrin yọ ọmọ náà ẹ̀. Àmọ́ bí táwọn yẹn ti wá, àmọ́rú àǹjọ̀nú tó wà nú àwọn yẹn tó ń pera wọn ní bandits. So, let's go further. The persecution of converts was equally noticed even when African church leaders sprang up. According to Olaiwola, the spectacular evangelism by Prophet Joseph Ayo Babalola brought with it a wave of persecutions to all who rushed into the new faith. The prophet himself, Inye Babawa Ayo Babalola, was not spared of the ague of persecution. Ayo Babalola retreated to his hometown in Odo Owa for more spiritual strength. While he was at Odo Owa, a warrant of arrest was issued from Ilorin on him. Can you imagine? Ṣẹ̀rí intan sọ fún èèyàn wa. Ṣẹ̀rí tá bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ nígbà míì, a máa dàbí pé wàhálà tí ẹ ṣe wá fẹ́ pọ̀ tó yìí. Tẹ̀bí ìlú òyìnbó níwọ̀ kúkú wà. Kí ló wá ń tara báyìí? Kí ni wàhálà ẹ̀ pọ̀ báyìí? Báwo nìyàn ṣe lè máa ṣe spiritual whatever tó believe in ní ìlú ẹ̀? Mo mọ bí tí ọ̀dọ̀ wa yẹn wà. Ta ló mọ bí tí ọ̀dọ̀ wa yẹn wà? State wọn nìyẹn, because mo ti rí state yẹn níbí báyìí. Wọ́n kọ state yẹn sí. Níbo ni state yẹn wà? Fẹ́yìn tí ẹ mọ bàbá wa Ayọ̀ Babalọ́lá, tẹ follow wọn, tẹ dẹ̀ gbà fún wọn. Kí àwọn Ìlọrin, ṣé Kwara náà níbẹ̀ wà? Òkè Kwara náà ni wọ́n wà. Ṣé ọ̀dọ̀ wa yẹn Kwara ni? So it's one local government in Kwara State, am I right? before I move forward. So it's in Kwara State. So Odowa is in a local government in Kwara State. Okay. So now, any in tone spiritual kini ẹ̀ níbẹ̀, wọ́n wá pè láti Ìlọrin pé ta ni wọ́. Ṣé mọ̀ pé yẹn ló sì ń ṣẹlẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn Ìlọrin tọ́lọ máa ń kanlẹ̀kùn mọ́ ìyá oníṣẹ̀ṣe pé ó lè ṣọdún ìṣẹ̀ṣe ní bíbáyìí. You can see that this has been going on as far back as then. Láyé àwọn bàbá Ayọ̀ Babalọ́lá ni wọ́n ti ń go through that problem. And it's still happening in our lifetime. So how do we manage all these issues? He was arrested for preaching against witches, a practice which had caused some trouble in Oto in the present Bendel State, now Edo State. He was even sentenced to jail for 6 months in Benin City on March 1932. Ìyẹn bàbá Ayọ̀ Babalọ́lá was sentenced one. After serving the jail term, he went back to Efon Alaye. Ṣé níbo l'Efon Alaye yẹn wà? I'm just learning myself because, you know, some of these names, I kò yẹ pé mo gbọ́ Efon Alaye rí, but state wo ni náà again ní Efon Alaye yẹn wà. So wọ́n ní bàbá yẹn ó padà lọ sí Efon Alaye pé tí wàhálà tí yín bá fi pọ̀ ní Kwara bí a kì í sá lọ sí state mi bí àwọn èèyàn gbà mí lálejò. You know, while he continued with his peripatetic ministry. He continued with his ministry. And today, you know, ìjọ ti gbógan people Ekiti State, ẹ ṣé gan. So nígbà tí wọ́n persecute bàbá Ayọ̀ Babalọ́lá ní Kwara tó jẹ́ kó ríṣẹ́ ṣe níbẹ̀. Ní bí abẹ́ ní hometown tí wọ́n, bàbá yẹn wá pé bí a kì í sá lọ sí state mi bí àwọn èèyàn gbà mí lálejò. Mo wá ń béèrè pé ṣé ká ẹ ṣé gan ni gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ní Ekiti State, ẹ ṣé gan ni èèyàn kan náà ti dá mi lóhùn lórí Instagram, lórí TikTok, ẹ ṣé gan, mo appreciate. It shows that people are following the conversation. By 7 o'clock, my try that the party topic. So I'll have to come back, you know, maybe tomorrow. I think I might do tomorrow, and then we close it tomorrow. And we're having issues with the network, especially on Facebook. Ẹ má bínú sí mi. Odowa ní Kwara State tí bàbá yẹn ti ń ṣe ìjọsìn ẹ̀ tó ti ń ṣe spirituality ẹ̀yẹn bàbá wa Ayọ̀ Babalọ́lá kọ́lọ̀ bá wa fọ̀run kẹ́ wọn. Because púpọ̀ nu wa là ń jẹ àǹfààní ẹ̀ lẹ́nu. Àwa kan náà ń jẹ́. Because táwọn kan bá ń ṣàdúrà fún wa wá ní àwọn lo agbára bàbá Ayọ̀ Babalọ́lá. You know, I believe in whatever comes across me. I don't have a problem with that. But not everybody across it. He left Kwara State to go to Ekiti State. When he was persecuted, Ati accept pé Odowa is Kwara State. But according to Ntankai, I'll repeat it again. He was arrested. One arrested Baba any former Bendel, OTD Edo State, was sentenced on for 6 months. One wá nígbà tó di March 1932. Ọjọ́ ti pẹ́. So interfin ṣeré. Tí gbogbo wa fi ń ṣeré, kò kàn mí, wo tá bá fi àyè sílẹ̀ fún Fúlàní. Níjọ́ táwa náà máa ti dàgbà tá máa dògbó, k'Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí ilẹ̀ yẹn kó ṣì wà lọ́wọ́ àwọn ọmọ wa. Ó wà nílùú òyìnbó ni, ó wà ní ọ̀sẹ̀ lẹ́lẹ́ òyìnbó ni, ó wà nílé ni. Ilẹ̀ yẹn gangan ni ó wù wọ́n fẹ́ gbà. Wọ́n dẹ̀ fẹ́ gbà by all costs and all means. Àwọn ọ̀kẹ́ ìtàjẹ̀sílẹ̀ ọ̀bá sí. Ṣé dá àwọn ọ̀kẹ́ èèyàn tó bá kú lọ́dọ̀ tiwọn? Àwa làwa wà. A ní soft heart. Fẹ́ jẹ́ kí yàn kankan. Èyí tá à ń sọ yìí kò ń sọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation. À ń sọ̀rọ̀ tí ọ̀rọ̀ tó fẹ́ mú. Ṣẹ́rí sometimes when people just burst into the ó lè má gbogbo ta ti sọ látẹ̀kan. Gbogbo tí mo sọ yìí nísìn, èwo ni kò mú Yorùbá nation jáde nínú ẹ̀ nísìn. It shows how our IQ are all different. So gbogbo tí mo sọ nísìn, in tó context for Yorùbá. Or bí a bẹ ṣe sọ yẹn pé what next pẹ̀lú gbogbo tí mò ń sọ yìí, what next is ká mọ̀ tá a jọ máa ṣe k'Ọlọ́run kó gbà wálẹ̀. Bí a bẹ mi ṣe támẹ̀, bí a bẹ ṣe kọ́ yẹn ni mo lè ṣe gbọ́ torí òyìnbó náà wà wicked. Ní 1932, wọ́n lé bàbá Ayọ̀ Babalọ́lá. Okay, yeah, I understand now. Mo get it. Náà mo ṣe reverse ẹ̀ pé bí a bẹ mi ṣe támẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ ni, but mo ti understand nísìn. Ní March 1932, wọ́n lé bàbá Ayọ̀ Babalọ́lá tẹ̀yìn fi ọlá tí wọ́n gbàdúrà lénìí. Táwa náà fi ọlá Ànábì sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Àwọn kan ní Yeah, I understand the network is not stable. Like I said, in another 14 days, I'll fix it. So for now, let's just manage it. I know it is not the best network. There's no doubt about it, but I'll repeat it all the time. So just if it's so in 1932, wọ́n jẹ́ kí bàbá Ayọ̀ Babalọ́lá kó ṣe tó fẹ́ ṣe. Whether we agree with Christianity, whether we disagree with it is not the issue. But àwọn kan disagree pẹ̀lú ẹ̀. And today, we have that happening across Yoruba land. Wọ́n jẹ́ ká rí ayé gbé, wọ́n ní wá lára, wọ́n fún wa ní stress, many things that they are doing today that is just unbearable. So wọ́n ní bàbá yẹn sá lọ sí Ẹfun Alààyè ní Èkìtì State, where he continued with his ministry. Ìjọ dẹ̀ lọ sókè, and many people are still, practicing, that faith. So let's leave it for that section. So that Tibapadawa, Bialola, we take it from there again. Once again, my name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. This is Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. So, gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ti ṣe sọ fáwọn èèyàn wa ní oṣù táwa yìí, ẹni tó bá fẹ́ article tí mò ń kà yìí, all you need to do is just, do a Google search, you'll find it, or you come on my poster, sorry, group chat wa is a PDF, and you can ask somebody to recall, kó share pẹ̀lú yín. 2 events are coming up this month that has been brought to my table and confirmed from my principal, Ìyẹn Bàbá wa Ìgbòho Òòṣà. Those 2 are, one, there's going to be on the 11th of April, tí bàbá wa Olóyè Ìgbòho àwọn Ìfẹ́lódùn Àpapọ̀ Security Agency Limited ní Yewa 5 local government parapọ̀, wọ́n máa host the appreciation program fún bàbá wa pẹ̀lú àwọn èèyàn wọn lọ́hùn. Also ní Kogi State, Olóyè máa lọ sí Kogi State láti lọ ṣe àbẹ̀wò fún àwọn Okunland àtàwọn axis ibẹ̀. Ẹ já gbọ́, mò ń bọ̀.
Chief Dr. Sunday Igboho káàbọ̀ sí ilẹ̀ òkun ní ọjọ́ 15 àti ọjọ́ 16 oṣù kẹrin ọdún tí a wà nínú rẹ̀ yìí. Àwọn olùgbàlejò gbogbo lọ́balọ́ba nílẹ̀ òkun lábẹ́ alákòóso wọn ọba Dr. Solomon Délé Owóníyì Òkìtọ́lékè Owóyọ̀mádé one the Baro of Kaba àti alága gbogbo lọ́balọ́ba nílẹ̀ òkun. Ẹ jẹ́ kí atúyàyà láti wá pàdé Chief Dr. Sunday Igboho láti Ẹgbẹ̀mẹ́kù dídé ìsọ̀rọ̀ ọba ayédò ìyàwó yìí dídé ìyàrá wá sí ìlú Kaba gbogbo ilẹ̀ gbogbo pátápátá dídé ọ̀wọ́rọ̀ wà ní ká jáde láti wá pàdé àlejò pàtàkì yìí. A tún fi àsìkò yìí dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ bàbá wa ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ààrẹ Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu fún ètò ààbò tí ó gbé fún bàbá wa Ìgbòho Òòṣà. Àpò orílẹ̀ ní ilẹ̀ òkun nígbàbọ̀dé ẹgbẹ́ Ìfẹ́lódùn Àpapọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá ní olùkéde.
So that is the program for our Easter Sunday. We appreciate you all. Bear with us with the network. It's not a great one, but we're working on it. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ comment, gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ dá sí nírọ̀lẹ́. We will get to our destination just for the last 5 minutes. There's no doubt about it. People will be concerned, worried about whether Yoruba Nation is still an ongoing, whether it is gone, whether it is not going to happen. But Yoruba Nation, okay, Erita Simi, we can get you one, brother me, send message to me, we can get you one. I have them in different sizes and we can work around it and put it in post maybe on Tuesday, because there's a bank holiday, I believe, tomorrow. Yes, I hope, yeah, maybe Tuesday we can post it to you, or Wednesday, Tabatigba payment. So, as we are talking about Yoruba Nation in the last 5 minutes, self-determination is the inalienable right. Everybody knows that. But báwo la ṣe fẹ́ gba Yoruba Nation? Báwo la ṣe máa gba country yẹn? Ṣá máa jà pẹ̀lú gídígbò, ṣá máa ṣe rally, ṣá máa protest, ṣá máa ṣe this. We have done a lot of engagement. àti engage àwọn èèyàn, àti jáde protest àti ṣe rally àti ṣe, is just, in numbers across the globe. Kò ń ṣe ní ojú kan láti ṣe. Bá ṣe l'Amẹ́ríkà, wọ́n ṣe ní UK, wọ́n ṣe ní Libya, wọ́n ṣe kódà àwọn ìlú tí ọ̀tẹ̀ ń jẹ́ kó ṣe rally, àwọn èèyàn kò wọṣọ tọkọ ra jókòó tí ara rally náà ni. Wọ́n ṣe ní Malaysia. So what we need to do now is to continue to lobby the international community for our quest. Ìyẹn àkọ́kọ́. The èkejì, we will talk to the politicians. Whether they're going to listen, they're not going to listen. Election born listen, so they're not going to listen to you about any dissolution of Nigeria. But what a lot of people are saying is that the changes might happen if Tinubu comes back second term. It will give us state police. We have the local government autonomy. I don't know how fully and functioning those are working. But what we know is that as the leadership continue to engage across board, Nigeria itself does not want to be dissolved. I will come back and talk about that in another topic. The Northerners just want Tinubu to do whatever he wants to do. They are ready to let President Bola Tinubu, gbogbo tó bá náà fẹ́ ṣe, gbogbo tó bá fẹ́ ṣe, àti right, àti wrong, just do it. And allow him to give them back the power in 2031 if he comes back and win the next election. The Northerners, they are trying as much as possible to do everything possible best and give leeway to President Bola Tinubu pé in tó bá wọ̀n ni kó ṣe in tó bá wọ̀n. Because ó mọ̀ pé tí Tinubu bá ṣe tán, power ò lọ sí South East. Pé Igbo ma the president nínú Nàìjíríà yẹn after Tinubu a lè díẹ̀. Àwọn yẹn ti mọ̀. But àwọn gan serious because àwọn tó fẹ́ Biafra náà lọ tó fẹ́ gbé Peter Obi wọlé, àwọn náà ní agenda. The same Igbo tó fẹ́ Biafra, wọ́n tún fẹ́ Peter Obi. Àwọn náà ti fẹ́ Àtíkù or Kwankwaso. Àwọn Yoruba fẹ́ Tinubu. I'm talking now about the election that is just around the corner. But whoever emerge as the winner in 2027, because nobody knows what can happen between now and 2027, we can speculate, we can analyze. Tó bá sọ fún wa pé ogun tí Iran ń jà lọ ní South America ó máa last to time yìí, we will dispute it. So we can sit down and say, yes, election we hold, but that is subject to whatever can happen, between now and next year. But in táwọn not ṣe ń dọ̀bálẹ̀ fún Tinubu nísìnyí pé wọ́n fi yẹ kó ṣe tenure ẹ̀ tán, kó dá power padà fáwọn. And if President Tinubu managed to come back in 2027 and he is not taking the steps from our own side, interfere, and is not even taking steps from those that want regional, and then he completes his tenure in 2031 and return powers back to the north, then atento for Yoruba nation, atento for restructure, atento for regional, we will all dance marigi. So it is important that as we continue to educate the people, we continue to tell the politicians from the Southwest to remember ilé ló ń pè ní àbọ̀sími oko. Because tẹ́ bá lọ l'Abuja náà tẹ́ ṣe signatory whatever yín tán, ilé náà lẹ máa padà sí. So I hope the message is clear. So that question about ṣé Yoruba nation ṣì ń lọ? Yes, Yoruba nation is an ongoing under the leadership of Babakitoye and àwọn igbákejì wọn. And whether APC is the face today does not guarantee APC next 10 years. Because the moment Tinubu bá ṣe tán, party yẹn máa break. And they will emerge another political party to run the affairs and the show. So it's we are at the crossroad as I end the broadcast because it's already 7 o'clock. Our crossroad, Eshegoni Baba Waris Jinodu for the super chat the last time. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ti comment. ẹ̀yin tẹ́ dá sí àtẹ̀yin tí ẹ wà ní silent listeners. Ẹ ṣé gan ni. Bàbá wa Déwálé mo kí yín. Mo kí Mr. Káyọ̀dé. Mo kí àwọn ìyá wa tó bá mi dá sí náà, Mr. Olúwaṣọlá. Mo kí yín. Mo kí bàbá wa Idris. Mo kí Mr. Adéyanjú. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wò lórí Facebook náà. Mo mọ̀ pé ẹ wà satisfied. But like I said, the internet, ẹ mọ̀ pé ìlú ọmọ fún any time tó máa wá fixing kankan ni. So we're working and waiting that the internet will be resolved because mo ti complain already. So wọ́n máa rán engineer wa. Time to that for me. I couldn't get a earlier time. Mo kí bàbá wa Laja. Just to appreciate, mo kí ìyá wa Abe Dairo. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ń gbọ́ mi. Mr. Michael Wheezy, thank you so much. And any of you from Ghana, thank you for watching as well. Omar Tola Kutere, Eshegoni. All the comment, I've seen it, and we cannot read all the comment out, but I hope you'll catch up with me at my next broadcast. Please do not take my video and lash it on your page and change the topic. It will be a conflict of interest. Kò ṣe pé à ń bá ní kankan jà, kò ṣe pé à ń bínú síyàn kankan, kò ṣe pé anything more than the fact that we just want our program that I've done now to remain on our page. I don't want you to pick it up. It doesn't matter who you are, pick it up and then slash it on your own channel. Rather, ẹ bá wa share links orí Facebook yín, ẹ gbé link mi lọ sórí WhatsApp group yín. So àwọn tó bá fẹ́ gbọ́ Koikimedia, kó lè wá sórí channel wa kó wá gbọ́. So that we can have our traffic and in tí mo sọ kó gbọ́, kò ṣe pé ẹ kọ̀ cut ibì kan níbẹ̀, wọ́n máa miss ibì kan. And all that is not working for us in 2026. And if you like to support us, it's voluntary as an organization. So when we say support Koikimedia, we mean it is a voluntary donation. It is not compulsory. Like I said, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo yín, mo rí gbogbo iṣẹ́ tó olúkálùkù wa ń ṣe. We all have different expertise. Expertise tèmi lèmi fi ń sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹlòmíì expertise tí wọ́n máa yàtọ̀ sí tèmi. And please, gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá pè mí Koiki, I don't get involved in conflict. Ẹ wá lọ bá wa dá sí nǹkan táwọn rí táwọn gbọ́. I am not interested in that. I have a lot on my table. Kí tún máa lọ máa deal pẹ̀lú conflict. Èmi kọ́ ni leader. Leader wà. Ẹ wá leader kó lọ deal pẹ̀lú àwọn conflict yẹn, because those conflicts sometimes, is just worth living. So kò ń ṣe irú èmi ni máa dá sí conflict. Yes, I am a leader on my own as well, leading my platforms, leading. Bí ṣe ń bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ nísìn, àwọn ọmọ mi wà lórí ìrìn àjò, wọ́n ń lọ ìlú kan báyìí nísìn, kọ́ lọ bá mi ṣọ́ wọn débẹ̀. Wọ́n ti gbéra láti state kan báyìí. State tó ń lọ yẹn kò ń ṣe ìrìn wákàtí 3. Ẹ̀mí mi bí ṣe jókòó báyìí nísìn, ẹ̀mí mi wà pẹ̀lú wọn. Until tó bá débẹ̀, tó bá pè mí, tó bá dẹ̀ débẹ̀, lọ́la lágbára Ọlọ́run, gbogbo tó lọ ṣe ẹ̀rí wò ní orí live. Tá bá wá rẹ̀ tó ní event tó fẹ́ ṣe ní Nàìjíríà, bí ẹ fẹ́ broadcast, kó bá yín gbé síta, ẹ rí pé wọ́n ṣe party kan ní Ṣakí lánàá, wedding, ẹ pè wá, ká jọ sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ fẹ́ ránṣọ ìgbàlódé tí mo wọ̀ lánàá, táìmù àwọn òyìnbó ń béèrè pé, what? You look beautiful, man. Where are you from? I'm Nigeria, but a Yoruba man. And wow, beautiful. Woo. So, kódà mo ní kó bá mi yà kan tó wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́, one of the tallest building in London. So, Omitaf Couture ni ó rán sí mi lára. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn medias wa tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ káàkiri pé kí ọ̀rọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá kó tẹ̀síwájú. Àtẹ̀yin tẹ́ gbà, mo mọ̀ pé tó bá tó àsìkò, gbogbo a máa gbà fúnra wa náà ni. And on that note, mo gbọ́ VN kan látọ̀dọ̀ àwọn, just on the lighter note, mo gbọ́ VN kan látọ̀dọ̀ àwọn onítìrì. Ṣé ká kọ̀ gbọ́ yẹn ká tó máa lọ kí n dẹ́rìn pa yín? Nígbà tèmi gan gbọ́, mo rẹ́rìn, mo fẹ́ tàkìtì. Let's see if I can get that audio. Coffee, especially ọ̀rọ̀ wọn ti dé ọ̀rọ̀ aṣọ fún wọn wọ̀ gbọ́. Let's hope this will download quickly. Ká kọ̀ gbọ́ ká rẹ́rìn. Nígbà tèmi gan gbọ́, mo fẹ́ tàkìtì. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí Facebook, ẹ já sáré gbọ́ kó tó tún gbé yín lọ.
Mo kí gbogbo àwa gidi gangan IYP GDRY. Mo kí wa lógúnlógún, mo kí wa lọ́gbọ̀nlọ́gbọ̀n, mo kí wa o. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa, mo rí flyer kan ni o. Mo rí tí àwọn sarcastic graphic àti media tí wọ́n gbé síta pé ìyá wọn ò fọwọ́ sí. Ta ni ìyá yín? Ta ni yín? Ìsọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ ló ṣe ẹ̀. Ìyá yín wa ní kó jáde síta kó wá sọ ọ̀kan tó rí lọ́bẹ̀. tó fi wàrú ọwọ́ iṣẹ́ tó ṣe ṣòwò wa $370,000 ìyẹn ìkíní nǹkan tó rí lọ́bẹ̀ tó fi wàrú ọwọ́ ẹ̀rí nǹkan tí olórí Adélé ṣe bàbá wa Mobọ́lájí Ọláwálé Akínọlá ọmọkọrẹ́ abẹ́yìn mẹ́ta ọ̀hún lẹ́fẹ́ sórílẹ̀-èdè kò ní dáa fún gbogbo yín pápátá àtẹ̀yìn tó ràn yín iṣẹ́ àtẹ̀yìn kan tó ránṣẹ́ ẹ̀ ní ṣe rere ńlẹ̀ Yorùbá Ọlọ́run àgbégilé ẹ̀lẹ́ ayé yín ìyá yín ọ̀hún January 18 láti rí mọ́ o ní ò lè bọ́ síta o torí tó bá yẹ pé tẹ́lẹ̀ ni a ti jáde síta a ti wá sọ̀rọ̀ kíní kan ṣe báyìí kíní kan ṣe báyìí kò ní dáa fún gbogbo yín pápátá ẹ̀ ní ṣàǹfààní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá máa mú gbogbo yín pápátá parọ́ lọ́sàn gangan àìṣòro ẹ wá ní ká dúró dè yín ìní ṣe rere nílẹ̀ Yorùbá bó ṣe máa rí nìyẹn o àmì àṣẹ Èdùmàrè ilẹ̀ máa mú yín ilẹ̀ máa mú yín ilẹ̀ máa mú yín àṣẹ Èdùmàrè.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àjàkáyé lélẹ̀ tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn o ẹ jẹ́ kí íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì mi kó padà dáadáa èmi àti FBI mi ó wò mí báyìí àti páìlì àwọn kankan tàbí wá mo máa gbé FBI mi wá àwa bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ ṣe rántí pé wọ́n ní àwọn lọ sí United Nations pé bẹ́ẹ̀ làwọn ti lọ gba document the same document ọ̀nà gbà yẹn a ṣẹ̀ wá rí pé òfegè ni kò sí nǹkan kan tó jọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ó lọ sí any garden place wọ́n rán bàbá yẹn Fálétí tó ń ẹ má bínú pé mo tún fẹ́ extended díẹ̀ a máa mú láti lọ Fálétí tó ń sọ fáwa pé nígbà tó wà lọ́dọ̀ YSDM a máa kó èrè owó tó fẹ́ gbà òun ló release $360,000 fún ìyá wọn Kùkùté tí kò dẹ̀ question ẹ̀ ó yẹ kó fọlọ́pàá gbé Fálétí fúnra rẹ̀ ṣóò gidi ń bọ̀ èmi náà máa bá wọn ṣe ṣóò torí ara wọn náà wà tọ́ àtàkàwá náà àbí bọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ń gba full internet mi padà countdown ni oṣù náà ni in another 14 days tá bá ti ní full internet àwa jọ ṣe show yẹn show of shame fún wọn especially ìkànnà wọn pàdé mi kan tó wà lamẹ́ríkà ìyẹn gba $100,000 lọ́wọ́ wọn màá sì forúkọ ẹ̀bùn nísìn $100,000 ló gbà lọ́wọ́ wọn mò ń bọ̀ wá fún gbogbo yín ṣẹ́rí tí brọ́dà mi tó ń bá yín ṣe ìyẹn brọ́dà mi tó wà London kí lórúkọ ẹ̀ ẹ bá mi rántí orúkọ ẹ̀ tó ń ṣe program fún wọn wọ́n ti yọ ìjìnlẹ̀ ní setting yéò wọ́n ti yọ ìjìnlẹ̀ wọ́n ti yọ ní ṣẹ́rí ìjìnlẹ̀ brọ́dà mi wálé àlè èmi ò lè bá jà brọ́dà mi ní àlè bára wá jà èmi ń bọ̀ wá fún yín ní my own perspective mo ti gbọ́ gbogbo audio yẹn bó ṣe ń sẹ́ndẹ̀ sí mi mò ń farabalẹ̀ gbọ́ gbogbo èmi àti FBI mi àmàwá ṣẹ́ríbó ìtakọ̀ máa analyse fún yín that part of the United Nations mo fẹ́ condemn ibẹ̀ yẹn tán pátápátá kò mo ṣe program lé nígbà yẹn and I was right a ṣe research fún irọ́ ló ń pa pé wọ́n lọ sí United Nations wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ mẹ́yẹ bọ̀ lápò ni ṣẹ́rí ìjìnlẹ̀ Marcus wọ́n ti gba ní setting wọ́n rí pé ìjìnlẹ̀ gaiman ni lẹ́nu wọn ni o èmi kọ́ mo sọ o lára àwọn audios wọ́n jẹ́ ká mọ̀ pé ìjìnlẹ̀ máa ń bá àwọn èèyàn píkà owó píkà ní ìjìnlẹ̀ ní Turkey èmi kọ́ ni mo sọ o èmi kọ́ Koiki kọ́ ló sọ o àwọn náà lọ sọ o pé ìjìnlẹ̀ píkà ni ẹ̀mọ́ tó ń pè ní píkà tó bá mọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ lọ find out ó máa ń bá wọn píkà owó ní Turkey so gaiman Black Lion ó rí pé ìjìnlẹ̀ ó gbàdánù ó wá dàbí pé tí mo gbọ́ mo mọ̀ o ó dàbí pé wọ́n ní Black Lion àti ìyá Kùkùté wọ́n ti jọ pàdé wọ́n jọ ń mọ mú ara wọn wọ́n ní because Black Lion sọ pé scarf ya Dúpẹ́ Onítìrì òun máa ń wé sábẹ́ ṣòkòtò òun tó bá fẹ́ sùn mò ń bọ̀ wá bá yín the last one tí máa sọ fún yín ṣe mọ̀ pé Dúpẹ́ Onítìrì Black Lion wọ́n kówó wọn lọ sí Burkina Faso wọ́n lọ fi set up business ṣé ò ń bọ̀ mò ń bọ̀ fún wọn mò ń bọ̀ fún yín mò ń bọ̀ fún yín especially ẹ̀yin diaspora ta sọ fún nígbà yẹn ẹ̀yin tẹ kó £30,000 fún wọn wọ́n pe bàbá kan ní Mickey Babs ó lé Mickey Babs yẹn tá a fi ṣe gbogbo rally London mo ò rojú ẹ̀rí mo mọ orí èèyàn tó jẹ́ ó gba £18,000 lọ́wọ́ wọn £18,000 lọ́wọ́ wọn nílùú yìí owó yẹn wọ̀ remittance America mò ń bọ̀ fún gbogbo yín ok mò ń bọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ kí internet mi dé because mo fẹ́ kí anybody miss show yẹn nígbà tá a bá máa ṣe mo kí gbogbo yín o happy Sunday tá a bá wá rẹ̀ tó ní Koiki ìwọ náà gba owó Easter egg gba kékeré máa gbà lọ́wọ́ yín with pleasure. Ẹ tó bá dẹ̀ wá ní òun ò ní àdúpẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìjìnlẹ̀ olúwọlé so bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n lọ set up farming business. Mickey Bab's full name is Mukaila Adeyemi Babatunde. Kò má lè jẹ́ ẹni tí mo mọ orúkọ yẹn fẹ́ sound familiar. FBI ajá sọ yìí kò lè jẹ́ òun náà. Mo ò rojú ẹ̀rí báyìí tá fi parí rally ní London. Anyway, on that note, thank you so much for watching. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. Thank you very much. Go and enjoy the rest of the Sunday and àpàdé again lágbára Ọlọ́run. Ọ̀sẹ̀ tá fi wọ̀ yìí ọ̀sẹ̀ tuntun ló máa jẹ́ fún wa o. Wọ́n ní wẹ́ẹ̀mà tiẹ̀ o, àní sọnù, àní jọ ẹni tó ń wá o. Àní torí níta fẹ́ jẹ ká wá gba oúnjẹ ọ̀tá wa ká wá jẹ torí pé àmú tó lè fi sínú ẹ̀. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin ìyá wa dáadáa. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń gbọ́ mi tẹ́ ní Koiki àgbọ̀ ibo ló wà látijọ́ mo ti dé. Adúpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run. Ìyá kú, ìyá ṣìwà náà ni. Mo dúpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run. Thank you so much. God bless you. God bless Yoruba land. Iṣẹ́ wa fúnlẹ̀ wa, forílẹ̀ ibi wa, kágbéga, kágbéga, kágbéga falérí. Ìgbàgbọ́ wa ni pé bá ti bẹ̀rù làbọ̀ mọ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká jọlá. Ìṣọ̀kan àtòmìnira ní kẹjẹ́ ká máa lépa, tẹ̀síwájú fọ̀pọ̀ ire àtòhun tó dára. Ọmọ Oòduà dìde, bọ́ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ. Ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀. Thank you so much. Bye for now. One love. No retreat, no surrender.